yours stays the same. Your monthly payments will never increase. It just takes one call to their salary-based mortgage consultant, 303-695-7000, or go online.
Okay, we're up.
At American Fund.
Now, let's pull up like this one.
I got to finish it.
Don't do that.
Okay, so
This
one.
You've got
that.
Is that okay? That's Tom.
Simply put, we make people happy.
That's pretty good right there.
Yeah, but we need to,
Well,
this is the one we need to
quarter in.
Well, that's good. Now, let's see the other, pull the other one.
You can count on.
There, you got three now?
Well, start with the
It's almost like we got it zoom out.
Well, you know what? They were actually switched. This one was a cure camera for some reason. That one.
whether it's we can replace it with as a door. As always, if you have one, we'll keep you right. It's 303-742-2295, 800-362-84.
Or if you have this one, a wider angle.
Music and games. So stop by your local Sprint store, sprint.com/holiday deals, or call 1-800-SPRINT1 to learn more.
Requires 18-month lease and new line savings via monthly credit line within 2 bills. Early termination results in paying balance due after 1/31/19. 38 college line for monthly. Compared to Verizon Beyond Unlimited rates for TNT Unlimited Plus plan and T-Mobile 1+1.5 lines. Carrier features differ. Coverage and offer not everywhere. Subject to credit and $30 activation fee. Speed maximum, use rules and restrictions apply.
The Troubleshooter
Hello, I'm Tom Martino. This is another beautiful day in Colorado, and another day I have the privilege to get to this microphone and with our freedom of speech, able to call out fire on those making your life difficult. You know, who would ever think that a show like this would be running 40 years? Someone told me, Tom, aren't you going to run out of problems? Or, wait a minute, Tom, how many times can you discuss broken toasters? They were joking. And that was way back in the 70s. Then I came here in the 80s. I was here. So here's the deal. We go way beyond broken toasters. Whenever new technology erupts on the scene, we're there to analyze it and talk about it, which brings me to today. We have a lot to talk about. We're coming up on the Christmas season. People are going to buy lots and lots of things. Do you know how to buy what you're looking for? Thank God for the internet. Isn't it wonderful? You can look on the internet and find anything. You also can find a lot of BS. So I am going to tell you the surefire way. Listen, the surefire way to shop and to get accurate information. Surefire methods of shopping. Now, you can Google stuff and find a lot of information. You can ask friends. You can see demonstrations, but I am going to tell you how to shop in a method that's surefire for not getting ripped off. Surefire methods of shopping, and another thing, and how to stay financially secure. You've heard of the dynamic cards you can use online, where the numbers change all the time. But how do you research products? So here's my plea. If you want advice on anything, I'm here. Anything. I'm going to tell you how to research it. Not necessarily what to do, but how to research it. Or, if you want, I'll tell you what to do. We are a storehouse of information. You don't have to Google me. You can just call me. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. What do you want to buy? Have you ever thought about how to do it? We have surefire methods of helping. The worst thing you can do is just go out and buy something without researching it. Now let's talk about something else too. Our main topic of the day. See, that's just a side topic. Of course, it's always you and your problems, questions, complaints, and referrals. You need help? Call us. But we also are talking today about taxes. I have Eric Reinemer with me with Atlas CPAs and Advisors. And they are the ones who do our work here. Now, you may have heard me refer to them by other names, but they've consolidated into Atlas CPAs and Advisors. So we're going to talk about taxes, bookkeeping, year-end chores, keeping your books straight. Eric Reinemer, thank you for being here. Tax changes afoot, sir.
That's right. Who knows where it's all going to land?
Now, the biggest mistake, just the most common biggest mistake we make, what is it? What is it? What can we do right now?
Plan to know exactly where you are with your business, your income, and your taxes, and get a grip.
Who can do 179? There is something I want to talk about. Section 179. If you don't know about it, it's foolish. And there's a reason you need to know about it now, because there's a deadline on 179s. Isn't that right, Eric?
Well, for a 2017 deduction, you got to buy things and place them in service by the last day of the year.
Yeah. If your calendar year is the calendar year, you have to place them in service before the end of the year. Actually, it doesn't matter when your fiscal year is, because the IRS has its year, right? Does it matter?
No, everybody's calendar except for C Corps, which doesn't really apply to most of us normal individuals.
Okay, so we need to know what Section 179 is. It's important.
It's a provision that lets any business owner write off any equipment that they buy right off the bat.
Right off the bat, you can write off 100% of it. Now, that doesn't mean a credit. It means a deduction. What is the difference between a deduction and a credit?
A deduction lowers your taxable income. A credit lowers your actual tax bill.
Good way of putting it. So you take a deduction and you subtract it from your income. So you pay taxes on that much less income. If you get a credit, you take your tax bill and literally subtract it from your tax bill.
That's right. It's just money in your pocket.
So, are there still tax credits around?
Sure there are. There's tons of them. Who knows what will be left after this tax bill gets done.
Well, solar.
Solar is around. That could go away next year, but it still exists this year.
What else? Electric cars.
Electric cars. You can buy a Tesla and get a $7,500 credit this year. So
you are the government is really allowing you to use $7,500 of your taxes. I mean, if you think about it, it's subsidizing your car purchase.
That's right. We've actually got a client. He's buying a new Tesla every year for the last 3 years.
So you get $7,500 off of your taxes.
Yeah.
I find that. What do they run? Does anyone know what a good Tesla runs? A really nice one?
Oh, 130, 150,000, something.
What? What? That much money?
Yeah. The new ones may come out at 40 or 50, but the main ones, they're 80, 100, 130.
So, let's talk. 303-713-TALK is the number, 713-8255. Tax credits, solar, electric cars, not just the Tesla. You said Tesla, but all electric cars?
All electric cars.
Anything else electric? Electric trucks, electric boats, what?
Yeah.
Anything electric or not?
Well, no, it's cars, and if you just Google it, there's a half a dozen cars. More and more cars are coming out to qualify.
Cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, if you find them, right?
Yeah.
They're even experimenting with over-the-road tractor-trailer rigs.
I read that.
Okay.
Child tax credits.
That's an important one.
Wait, are they credits, though? They're actually credits?
They're an actual credit, $1,000 per child.
When? This year?
Probably going to 2, correct?
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
so we take that on my taxes, then? You take...
Yeah, but it's supposed to increase, but then they're going to get rid of the personal exemption, so...
Wait. Don't those child tax credits go away with income, or not?
No, as long as you have taxable income, you get those credits.
Okay.
And then it's going to double, my understanding, is from $12,000 to $24,000 for the minimal income, right?
For the standard deduction.
Or standard deduction.
Right.
For the standard deduction,
But then they're going to turn around and take away the $4,000 exemption per person. So
we're talking credits now, but let's talk some of the more popular deductions. What are they?
Tax deductions?
Yeah.
You mean for an individual?
First of all, other taxes.
Other state and local taxes.
Other taxes. That's the most common. Other taxes.
Real estate property taxes.
It's called SALT, state and local taxes.
State and local taxes.
And then also What else is deductible very commonly?
Medical.
Well, no, they're so far. Explain how that is.
Medical, you can only take whatever's over 10% of your gross income, so very few people get it.
Think about that.
Well, wait.
So if your gross is 50...
But you can also have an HSA, which won't be taxed when it comes out.
No, but that's
right.
different. But if you have an income of $60,000, then $66,000 is your base, and you can only subtract... Well, no, wait, how does that work?
If your income is $60,000, then your medical has to be over $6,000.
Oh, over $6,000.
Before you get a single dollar.
Okay.
But that's probably going to go away.
Okay.
That's in the tax bills to go away. The biggies are mortgage deduction and charitable contributions.
That's what interest deduction.
Mortgage interest.
Explain.
Only mortgage interest. You can't take interest on your car loan.
Unless it's in your business, you can.
Yeah, well, of course.
Or unless you bought it by getting a second on your house.
All right. Now,
hey, hold on. One question, though. Explain the pass-through to small businesses. Right now, they're talking 23% up from 17%.
Yeah, but you have to explain what pass-through is. We don't have time for that now. We'll do it right when we come back. That is important, but Mark, is that important for our listeners? Do we have small to medium businesses?
Oh, my God. Right. Think of how many businesses listen.
Then let's talk to Max first. Max, you have a question on a tax lien?
Yes, I have a lien on my name from tax period of 2009. I got the thing solved. I got the letter from the IRS. They released. They submitted to the court. It's been about 60 days. And how long normally would it take for them to remove out of my credit?
Well, off your credit?
Yeah, my credit report. When I pull my credit report, it's still showing the tax lien.
Okay, that wouldn't be a question for Eric, but I'll tell you this. Normal credit issues can take up to 2 months. It shouldn't take longer.
Okay, it's been about 60 days. If I don't see anything...
I would notify them now. Go and notify them online, all 3 of them.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I don't think Larson Tax Relief would have the answer to this. They might. Ask them. If they do, yes. If not, then we don't have to get them on. But I believe that it's more of a credit question, and that is you contact your people at the agencies, the bureaus, as they call them, and just put them on notice. So let's talk. There is a Christmas special I've been telling people about, and they're doing it for 10 people only each time we open it up. So if I had 10 people yesterday, we'll take 10 more today. That's Colorado Tinnitus and Hearing Center. It's a Christmas special, and wow, is it a big one. $1,000 off hearing aids. That's a lot of money to take off hearing aids. These hearing aids are new smartphone-compatible hearing aids. When you call up for a hearing evaluation, you're under no obligation to buy. You can simply qualify for the $1,000, but you don't have to buy. I tell people that because when they say, oh, I get $1,000 off, well, I don't want to call and get this done and decide not to have them. No, you don't have to worry about it. You'll be one of the 10. And then if you drop out later on, we'll do this again for another 10 or another 5. But right now we have 10 slots open. If you call for your hearing evaluation and you're qualified, you'll get $1,000 off, meaning if you need a hearing aid. These aids work with smartphones. I don't know if you realize this, but it used to be you had little control units. Now you can control everything with your phone. You can even talk on your phone with your hearing aid. It's wonderful. And it's good for tinnitus as well. Colorado Tinnitus and Hearing Center. Therapy for tinnitus, for hearing loss, one or for both. 303-534-0163. Remember, only 10 callers will be eligible for this $1,000 off. Call now, no obligation, but you get in line for the $1,000 off. 303-534-0163. God, we are heavy.
From the L&L Heating and Air
I gotta knock these off. Mark, what's this major radio? Because it's a bad day. What's this major radio?
LED.
Okay, I want you to start it on. You have all the info, or you want me to?
I pull it up on your phone.
They do with the IRS, we do with the tax.
I still have it, Mark.
I sure
Oh,
hope
we worked them a lot, they're a great guy.
Where is the log? Is there two Simplies or one Simply?
One, yeah.
On your route, download the new Total Traffic app powered by Traffic Karma. Weather forecast sunny today, cool, a high of only 45. Right now, peak clouds above.
I think it's going to be.
Shoot, I don't have
Traffic and weather.
There's no way you got rid of it.
30.
I'm sorry, I probably did.
No way.
Okay.
I bet you didn't.
Plumbing, heating, cooling, drain cleaning,
Sure.
electrical, lighting, kitchen and bath remodeling,
Radio
windows, and
spots.
fully stocked retail store and parts counter.
Your memory
Home
as
solutions,
you
trusted for
get
90
older
years. Cranberry,
is not what it used to be.
healthy cereal.
So let me find this spot for you.
Okay, he's full of.
No way. Let's get this time, Mom. I think we should get.
Is that a blanket statement, or are you referring to Todd?
That's purely Tom. I would never, towards an advertiser, I would never say anything like that. Your memory is like a steel trap.
With the Cranberry cereal with amazing onyx sorghum.
What makes onyx sorghum?
Onyx sorghum is an ancient grain, rich in natural fiber for sugar control and powerful antioxidants to protect your body against free radicals.
Wow.
Yeah, and get this, Cranberry has more antioxidants than any other cereal, fruit, or vegetable.
Even an apple, broccoli, banana?
Yep, and it tastes super yummy. I'm talking lots of flavor.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe you might have actually got rid of it. Yikes.
Let's just go to their website.
For carrying Cranberry cereal.
Yikes.
Cranberry.
Why would you do that, sir?
Honesty, integrity.
I can't even understand it.
Also like convenient locations. That's why I love Sheridan Auto Tech. All of those ingredients go into Sheridan.
Maybe it's under house. Ah, found it. I knew it.
Where was it?
House inventory. Ah, I told you.
Where'd you find it under house? I don't see it.
Front range.
Okay, thank you. I
See it?
Thank you.
Oh, they get tax credits too for that. Let's bring that up. Let's do that coming back. We'll do it. All right?
Where smoking is allowed. Experience a
That's going to be huge. That 17 to 23%, or is it 18 to 23%?
You know, nobody's really clear what it even means. I mean, there's a bunch of gobbledygook about 25% max, but in the 17 is, even we have 3 people in tax this morning trying to figure out what does it really mean. Is that a maximum rate? If you're over that, I think if you're in the 25% bracket anyway, you stay there. This might be for people that are over the 25%. So the credit will reduce you down to 31% if you're over 30%.
No one knows yet what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. You need a month to let them sort it out.
I'll tell you what, I want to go away more than anything. It's the 3.8% on Obamacare on capital gains.
Jones Homes is a local.
On investment
huge.
income in general.
It's huge. We could have that building closing, and literally that's 3.8%.
359-8218. 303-359.
You mean our thing?
303-359.
It's huge,
Will you
man.
take that when I... Do I get a deduction on my pass-through? Do you do that for me?
I'm Attorney
Deduction?
and I can help.
What are you talking about?
He's going back to that percentage.
That's an extra tax on income, which I think you get hit by when you're over a certain income level.
No, he's talking about it.
No, the pass-through we were just talking
Oh, yeah,
about.
yeah.
Do I get...
Right now, the S-corps and LLCs are complete, they may get rid of the way to avoid self-employment tax by paying a small wage, and the rest of it. That looks like they're trying to plug that hole.
That's going to be good, though, right?
It's good unless you're lower S-corp and LLC, you pay more taxes. Means you earn $200,000 in an S-corp and you can pay yourself $50,000 wage. You have to pay 15% of the entire amount, not the expansion.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You got to pay not just Social Security. You got to pay.
You got to pay Social Security on the entire amount you earn in your company, whether you call it a wage or not.
Oh.
That's like a deal killer for S-corps.
This hour brought to you by Aurora Orthodontics and TMJ. If you're looking to get straight, beautiful teeth in a short amount of time and save thousands and thousands of dollars over veneers and cosmetic dentistry, and even less expensive than regular orthodontia, you want to go to Aurora Orthodontics and TMJ. I can't say enough about these people because Dr. Kent Lawson pioneered this system. You wear a series of mouthpieces, and it widens your palate, straightens your teeth naturally. They align your jaw, and therefore it gets rid of TMJ, sleep apnea. You get straight teeth. Now for the finishing touches, you use Invisalign braces. This entire process, because there are no extractions, no surgeries, and no conventional orthodontics, this only takes 2 years. For beautiful straight teeth and a natural smile, Aurora Orthodontics and TMJ. And it's a fraction of the cost of veneers, which can be $50,000 and $60,000. Here's the number, 303-690-0100. This is the most astounding science you will come up against because he's proven the adult palate can be moved. 303-690-0100, Aurora Orthodontics and TMJ. Steve Cizik with Larson Tax Relief is on to talk about that tax lien. The guy really had more of a question on how long does it stay on your credit report. So I'll ask Steve Cizik with Larson Tax Relief. He's an attorney with Larson Tax Relief. Steve, how long does this stay on your credit? Do you know that?
Well, and there's a couple items with respect to that. So once an IRS, you pay off your IRS debt, the IRS has 30 days systemically to release that lien. So even if you pay it off, that lien's going to sit there for the better part of a month before legally they have to release it. And then once they do release it, they just send it to the county. They don't necessarily send it to these credit reporting agencies. So the onus is on the taxpayer to go on the website for Experian and TransUnion and the other one
that's very important.
Yeah, you have to actually fill out a little form. It takes 5 minutes, but you actually have to physically do it. They're not going to do it for you. So you have to go on there and say, look, this tax has been this lien has been released.
So what form is it? Where do you get the form?
On these websites, you literally will go on there and say, file an objection. And you
that one. You're talking about the bureaus, the collection agencies, right? And you fill it out, but you can upload the satisfaction of judgment to them. They allow you to upload the files.
Exactly.
Can they continue?
Lien release in hand, you can upload those.
Steve, can they continue to report it that you had it in the past, even though it's been paid off, almost like a bankruptcy for 7 years?
No, with tax liens, once they're released, and they're not continually reported.
Thank you very much. That's Larson Tax Relief, and today is tax day because, we're talking federal taxes. It's toward the end of the year, and Larson, if you have any problems and you need someone to help you with an audit or a tax collection, they don't do taxes. They only take care of problems like that. 844-LARSON-TAX. So, Eric, with Atlas CPAs and Advisors, do you know anything about the LED lighting thing? We were talking about credits. Now, I understand you get some tax credits for converting your buildings, the LED portion of your building. I mean, not the LED, whatever you convert to LED, depending on how much... Wait, no, there's two kinds. There's tax credits, but then there's also rebates from utility companies. Or am I wrong, Mark? No, tax credits.
There is tax credits, and there's the rebates, depending on, who your electric company is how much those are. Excels are a lot.
Now, the rebates from power companies, that depends on how much you're going to save them in electricity, because they don't want to go over the limit where they have to build new plants, so they incentivize you. Have you heard about those tax credits? Have you had any clients?
No, I do have a client that made some improvements on a building. They got some credits back from Excel over a period of time.
Right, but not I thought tax credits, though. Did they have any federal tax?
No, I don't think it's a federal tax credit. I've only had one client do that.
Okay, so however, there are many, let me see, federal tax credit.
Yeah, it's on here. I mean, they range from $500 and up. They call them Energy Star Certified Model Tax Credits.
Federal income tax credits, like Eric said, he hasn't run up against it. Energy efficiency, let's see, federal tax credits were available for energy efficient improvements. These are all, not just LEDs. It's upgrades in heating, cooling. It's for all of that stuff. And I believe they're still in force for 2017. They are? Yes. So the tax credits are for energy improvements, but I don't know how much of that you get.
It says they should remain in effect through December 2021.
So you got to ask your accountant about that, but it could be thousands of dollars. But here's the good news about that converting, okay? In fact, Mark, could we say that, can you think of any reason why you wouldn't do it?
No.
I mean, I can't think of any reason.
You can actually do it, and if you go with their financing, let's say the whole job's $5,000. Well, Excel's going to pick up half of it, so you got $2,500.
Or say 10.
Whatever it is.
Right, whatever it is. They're going to pick up, we're talking about Excel's going to pick up to half.
Up to half of it.
But whatever the balance is, if you financed it.
That's right.
If you finance the balance. Now remember, not a penny out of your pocket. If you finance the balance, you will be paying less for that loan than you would have for your electric bill.
Because you can save up to 90%.
Right. So your electric bill, your installation cost, and your financing all added together will still be cheaper than what you're paying now.
And
so you're saving from day one without a penny out of your pocket. Plus, once the loan is paid off, you have all of that savings.
Well, and you don't have to go out and buy bulbs all the time anymore. These things last like 10 years.
Right.
You don't have to buy ballast.
Right.
Your cost of ownership goes way down as well.
And you can get a free on-site analysis. We happen to have somebody on the referral list that does this conversion. Front range LED lighting. Mark, do you know what their website is? Their phone number. I'll give the phone number out. Do you have a website for them?
Yeah, I think it's Front Range.
Well,
let me look it up.
All right, here's the number, 719-262-2451. They do the whole Front Range, 719-262-2451.
FrontRangeLights.com. FrontRangeLights.com.
FrontRangeLights.com. So, Eric, I think that's a great thing. I mean, I can't think of any reason not to do it.
And I just want to point out a caveat here. Anything that, if you're considering this, I'd say do it now, because believe me, so many things could be disappearing January 1st.
Do you think that could happen?
I think literally there's hundreds of things which are going away on the current bill.
Okay, what are some, we'll talk about that coming up. I want to take some phone calls, okay? Ken, go ahead, your turn. Ken, welcome.
Yes, Tom, thanks
What's going on?
My call.
Yes, sir.
Well, listen, it's kind of just a complaint. I don't think there's much you can do about it, but I live in Pueblo.
Yeah.
I live in Pueblo, and so I dropped a friend off at the airport last month. And
I know what you're going to talk about, because you have to take out a freaking second mortgage.
Yeah,
you're talking about 470?
470.
God.
Yeah. And so here's the story. I drove E470 to the airport, turned back around and drove E470 to get home. But when I went to pick her up, I was early. I wanted to make sure that I beat the traffic.
Yeah.
So I drove on into Denver.
Yeah.
Down 70 and went over to the airport, but I came back E470. So basically I drove E470 3 times. And I got a bill for almost $33.
Man.
If I'd have driven it 4 times, it would have been $44. To me, that's outrageous. Is that just me, or is that everybody?
No, it is outrageous. I think it's outrageous.
Per mile, I think it's one of the most expensive highways in the country.
You're not the first time we've gotten this complaint, Ken. It's terrible, but there's not, I don't think there's, well, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, there is.
What is it set?
You don't drive it.
Well,
Tom, if you have a double axle trailer behind you like I did, you get counted as semi.
Yeah, a double axle trailer.
Yeah.
And then your 2 axles. How much does it cost, you know?
Same as a semi. It's about $30 or something like that for one trip.
God.
I was out in New York State about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And they had toll roads everywhere. I got to tell you, their costs for their toll roads out there are way less than what they are on.
Yeah, same with Jersey, man.
But I don't know why. I know why. Wait a minute. More people, right?
Not only more people, but the roads have been around a lot
longer. So more people, so they aggregate the cost over more people. Ken, you are not a lone voice in the wilderness. If you can
How do they justify it? That's what I want to know. How do they justify it?
This is a good question. Does anyone control the tolls? That is a very good question. How are toll prices set? We're going to find that out. I want to ask that question. How are toll prices taken? I don't know. Now, Mark, you want to talk about an RV salvage title?
Yes.
What about it?
I
I had an accident with my fifth wheel RV. Some damage to it, and the insurance company wants to total the RV. It's actually not too bad. I basically dropped it.
But you want to keep it, right? And you want to know the ramifications?
Yeah, the whole process. All right. I did go to the DMV.
You hold on, and we'll talk about it. Okay? Well, no, we'll talk about that, because that's a very good question on what to do. One Clear Choice Garage Doors, if you have a garage door and you don't know where to turn, the spring broke or something happened and you're saying, help, what do I do? One Clear Choice should be your choice. Love these guys. OneClearChoiceDoors.com. Openers starting at as little as $2.99. They can do complete doors. They can do any part of the door plus free inspections if you mention Martino. Truly free inspections of your doors. 303-565-6409.
We don't have an nonprofit.
I had one.
You had one. What was
it was the Help Center Foundation.
Okay, because Corey asked me, she goes, is this Tom's old nonprofit?
I don't know if it's
Make
true.
make it right.
Oh, that's what it was. It was Make It Right.
Do you know who owns the rights to that?
I don't know who owns it. That's what it was private at one point.
It's the name of his nonprofit now.
Oh, cool.
Because we got something from the IRS for it.
And what did they say?
I didn't, well, I don't know. I have to go get it.
They also.
But I wasn't sure if it was yours. So I'll go get it right now.
They do have
Okay.
I know that's all they
So it was right. All right.
Do everything through collection.
Well, they have maintenance.
Well, I mean, as far as collecting tolls, they go straight to their collection.
Well, they can make it to where you can't even renew your license, or what's the other one? You can't
renew your plates.
Your plates? Yeah, there's all kinds of shit they can do.
Bad thing is if you only have one toll, they don't send that bill out for a long time because they're waiting for others to get on there. And then you have a late gift cards.
Rent is available. It's just got to go a little earlier.
If we had any
That's up in the 11 o'clock
I wonder
hour.
what that one weird drop was when we first started.
80% of Fortune 500 companies lease their vehicles because that's a smart financial move.
So far, so good.
For my friends at Alliance Lease.
Did it actually drop? Did you have to reboot it?
No.
Or not reboot it,
And I've been
but
doing
restart?
Colorado businesses.
All right, cool.
It's just like it delayed, just blipped.
All the upfit you need.
See, I think we're going to end up putting it right here. See how this moves? But I want to have engineering because what I need to do.
Make sure that that line stays in there.
Well, yeah, or they got to split that. Something.
And then we got to run this other line up here. So
Exactly.
it's,
Good quality window. Second, an affordable price. And finally,
Oh, I got those splitters. I forgot to bring them in.
no, Suzanne gave it to me.
Oh, she brought them in? Cool. Two of them.
Windows America.
What?
Help us
The white
celebrate our 18th year. Go to our
Yeah.
website.
I bought you a can of spray paint.
windows.com and enter to win. A house full of windows
That
valued up to
tax credit you're talking about,
$10,000.
well, we just got it on 2 furnaces.
Every part of our window is
It's not
made
quite a
with
bit. I mean, even little furnaces.
AM.com.
I only paid $800 for it new.
Hey, it's
Little furnace, I got an $800 tax
holiday
credit for it.
season, and by now, if you
The
have
entire
stock up on gym,
amount you paid?
need to
You
get
mean
on
from
it.
Excel, right?
Yeah, from Excel.
Yeah.
You can't really go wrong with
The
it.
state has some, the feds have some. It's pretty weird, actually.
Thicker, stronger, and healthier.
I think the
And
solar
I
shit should
recommend
go
it
away,
to all
man.
of my friends.
I can't even stand thinking I'm subsidizing Musk. Drives me insane.
Yeah, but didn't that drop? They only did so many cars and then I thought it dropped.
There's a limit of like, X amount, like 100,000 per year or something like that.
Oh, is it per year? Oh, I thought it was total. Okay. I didn't know.
I think a lot of it's just going to go away because they're just trying to pay for this thing by getting rid of a lot of all these other.
I think they should too, man.
If other
The
manufacturers
mandate saves a ton of money.
If other manufacturers aren't providing electric cars, they have to pay a thing to
You can't lose.
the one you just mentioned, Tesla. Tesla receives a big subsidy from the other manufacturers for because they don't do it. The other manufacturers don't do it. They pay the subsidy to Tesla.
Yeah, but all that's going to change, man.
Yeah, especially as electric cars get more common, they're just going to have to let go of that as it becomes more.
China's got one that'll compete directly with Tesla half the price.
Yeah.
What's exciting about it? Hey, it's Rob. Ross Kaminsky, and how about the possibility...
The problem is right now the lobbyists are all going wild trying to get it all, the congressmen trying to put the two different packages together, so a lot of horse...
I bet it goes pretty quick, too. I just can't wait for that mandate to be gone. I want to be able to buy catastrophic insurance if I want. I want to be able to buy whatever I want. And then you see what, who merged with Aetna, or not Aetna,
CVS.
CVS. That's going to be incredible. That could drive health care down.
Right. Economies of scale and better negotiated.
They have a footprint everywhere. Yeah. It'd be very similar to a Kaiser model, except it's everywhere. Kaiser works great where it's at, but a lot of places Kaiser is not there.
But Walgreens already linked up with United Healthcare, so it's just part of this natural evolution of...
Are you against people that talk about...
I always thought like Sam's Club, Costco, all these places should have some... Any place where there's a big pharmacy, I think they should have a clinic.
What you propose, which is to make life...
Stop in, get a strep test,
climate change is
taste some meatballs, you know what I'm saying? Get a hot dog,
Let me call Brad
pick your wardrobe. What does it say?
So it says it's for 11/17 it's past due, but Brad Pitt has had it since 2007.
Brad Pitt owns it. Make It Right Foundation.
Hi, Tom Martino here. Welcome to the show. Eric Reinemer with me. And he is with Atlas CPAs and Advisors. We're talking taxes, tax deductions, year-end planning. Is there anything you really can do? We'll talk about that this month. Is there anything you can do? So, Mark first, though, because Mark, we left off with an RV. He got into a wreck. It's not terrible, but they want to total it. What year is this, Mark?
The RV is 1998.
Oh, okay, so it's an old one. That's probably why it was totaled without much damage, right?
Yeah.
How much damage is there?
I dropped the front of the RV onto the top of the pickup bed rails. And so the RV is still drivable.
Is it a Class A?
No, it's a fifth wheel.
Oh, a fifth wheel. Okay. And so you're going to fix the fifth wheel or just leave it like it is?
Well, the insurance company required that I have a repair estimate, and the repair estimate came in at about $7,900.
Okay, and they totaled it. So how much are they going to give you?
Based on
the value
market valuation report, they estimated it at about $10,200.
And you're going to be getting $10,200?
Yeah, if I turn the title over to them. Now, I asked them if I could keep the RV and the title. They said that they would send me a check for $8,900, but then I guess the title would be converted over to a
salvage.
Yeah,
that's exactly right, and that's the way it's going to stay until you get it completely fixed, and then you can get an inspection.
Right, and that was the part of the process where I went to the DMV and they handed me this document that says that I had an inspection done by the State Patrol.
Yes.
To verify that it's a roadworthy vehicle.
Right.
Now, the only thing that the patrol does with an RV is the tires and that kind of stuff.
You know what? This is weird because you're right. This is so different than a car. It would be the same with hail damage. Although now they don't issue salvage titles with hail damage because of this very reason. And you're right about RVs. They're going to look to make sure it's roadworthy, but let them do it. You still have to go through the process.
Yeah, now if I want to keep the RV and get it titled and licensed again, the document I got from DMV...
hold on. I believe even after it goes back on the road, it's still going to be a salvage title. It's still...
Okay, so you can have a vehicle with a salvage title.
Yes, they're driving around all the time. The only problem you may run into is when it comes to insurance.
Yeah, I don't think I'd get it insured because of the the issue and the value.
So then I think you're clear sailing, man. You just get the salvage title, but first they're going to salvage it, and you won't have a salvage title. You can't just put it back on the road until you get a salvage title. See, the idea of going to the State Patrol is to get a salvage title.
I thought it was just for the inspection.
Well, you can't even drive it without that. So you will not have a title. It's junk.
Okay.
The salvage title is to drive it.
Well, yeah, put it on the road. That was the
That's what I mean.
Concern about getting a license plate for it and that kind of stuff. So I don't get in trouble.
Right.
Hauling it down the road.
Right. Exactly. So I think you're on the right track, but you have to go through State Patrol. But people mistakenly believe if they go to State Patrol, they get a regular title. Nope. It will always carry that S. Now there is a process called washing the title. Not a very. It's kind of crooked. Although I don't know if there's any laws against it. But we've heard from people who bought a car. They went out of state. They converted the title. When they came back, they sold it, and it never showed the S from the previous state. The previous state, when it registered, dropped the S. Some states dropped the S, I believe. Now, Bob, the car guy, would probably know that, but I don't think it's that important. You're not asking about it right now. Ben, what's going on with you, Ben?
Hey, I got a domain that a couple years ago, it was set to automatically renew. I called them. I didn't want to automatically renew over the phone. I told them my financial information has changed. They said it was canceled, and now they're sending me a bill of $75.
Now, is this GoDaddy or one of those?
This is 1&1.
Okay, it's one of the many registrars. So you took it off of AutoBill, right?
I took it off of AutoPay? What?
Did you? Was it
I guess I didn't.
Okay, if it's on AutoPay and auto-renew, it's going to renew.
Yeah.
That's it. So you mistook it. You paid by mistake. You don't get your money back unless they want to give it back. I mean, if you did it and you didn't cancel it, then there's a problem. I mean, you have it for the year. I don't know what to tell you. They're not. How much was it? It was $50. That sounds like a lot of money for the year.
Yeah.
It's I've never even heard of $50 for the year. Why are you paying $50?
Yeah, it's more than one domain.
Oh, so you put them all on AutoPay, on auto-renew.
Yeah. I thought I'd canceled it, but...
How did you think you canceled it?
I over the phone.
But if you logged in online... Well, first of all, if you did it on the phone, they should have honored it. But when you logged... do you have the ability to log on?
My account's suspended.
Why? For non-payment? For what?
Yeah.
Well, you just said that you paid.
No, I didn't pay. No.
Oh, they're billing you.
They're billing you. I said I tried to cancel.
Well, there's no obligation.
Yeah.
If you listen, I thought you were on AutoPay. If you were on AutoPay, you wouldn't.
I couldn't get off of AutoPay.
He was on AutoPay, but his card expired. He owes the money. I mean, I'd love to tell him he doesn't, but most likely he probably owes it.
You're saying that, Mark, he committed himself by being on auto-renew.
Yeah, not canceling it quick enough.
Right, quickly enough, right. So therefore, he owes the money because you're right.
But if he doesn't pay it, I don't know what they're going to do.
That's what I'm saying. But you may not pay it. I mean, you may not owe it. If they can simply cancel it right now, you should only owe up to the point you did it. Or they don't do monthlies, Mark. They don't do monthlies, do they, with domains? They're a year in advance. Yeah, they
mostly.
So I would say it depends on what your profile said before they suspended it. If it was on auto-renew and your card expired, then technically you still owe it. But just because your payment was not presented properly doesn't mean you're not obligated. But as Mark said, I doubt they're going to enforce this. Well, what are they going to do? Even if they send it to collections, they can't collect a dime from you until they get a judgment. How are they going to get a judgment? And in addition to that, I don't believe they can even ding your credit because it's a misunderstanding. It's a civil matter.
silage titles really ding the value. I wonder how that guy got physical damage on a 98 unit.
He dropped it on the bed of his truck.
I know how he got insurance on it, because the insurance companies don't generally cover RVs over 12 years old. That's why my hail damage will go on.
Watch out for the north end of town, right northbound I-25, south of 120th. That's got the right lanes blocked. Watch out for another crash northbound I-25 and 84th, and a crash in Hamden and Chambers in the clearing stages as well. For the forecast, it's going to be sunny today, chilly though, a high of only 45. Right now, few clouds and 38 in Denver. With your traffic and weather, I'm Pete Wagner, 630 KHOW.
At Advanced Auto Parts, their friendly, knowledgeable team members are ready to help you get the parts you need. From brakes to wiper blades to headlights, you'll find it all right here at Advanced Auto Parts.
Affordable interest mortgage still has rates in the mid-threes. Do that upgrade thing you've been putting on, or pay off your interest rate debt, or just get ready for the holidays. Purchase your next home with only 2% down and no mortgage insurance. Take AIM, Affordable Interest Mortgage, 720-895-0500. We all know rates are going to go up, so why keep putting it off when you can borrow money in the threes? Do you know paying mortgage insurance is like adding 1.5% to your current rate without the tax deduction? Why? Take AIM, 720-895-0500. Call now and find out how to pay off your home faster, save over $100,000 in excess interest that you get to keep, all without changing one penny of your spending habits. Take AIM, 720-895-0500. VA loans to 100% with cash out in the low threes. We've been serving Colorado since 2001.
Combat boots.
It's not just our motto, it's who we are. Give the respect you deserve. Affordable Interest Mortgage, 720-895-0500. NMLS 298191, regulated by DORA, equal credit member.
It's unusual to do commercials about this because if you're an addict, you're not going to listen. I hope you would. Meanwhile, this commercial is mainly aimed at families because usually it's the family and loved ones who recommend rehabilitation. They call the Raleigh House. We met with these people. They are genuine from top to bottom. They absolutely have a love for people and for what they do. If you call the Raleigh House, they want to help you help the addict in your life, whether it's alcoholism, cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, meth. Painkillers are the biggest thing right now. Stimulants, sedatives, and even marijuana has caused problems for many. If you have a loved one who is an addict, they can help you.
I have never been more frustrated.
What's the deal, man?
I wrote for 4 hours. I was writing a story. I save every 3 to 5 minutes. When I was done, exited the program, I could not find the doc anywhere. Anywhere, ever, anywhere. So I was so depressed over that. So I came to the office.
Warm service on a bitter cold night. Frozen pipes fixed.
I
for hot showers. And happy customers.
Did it again this morning. But after about 10 minutes, I said, for the hell of it, I copied it all and pasted it into a notebook application. And I saved that file. And it wasn't there.
So it's gone again?
The only way I can, because it all came from an original file I opened, and I would revise it and save it. So the only way I could get it to save is open a new document, go into the notebook and copy and paste it back into the new doc, and then it will save from then on in. Something about that document, something about it would not allow me to save it.
Well, I have never seen anything like it. My wife went to Mac, because you go to Finder and Mac and find what area.
Well, of course, and I'm in Mac. That's what I ever do.
Was it a Word document? Or what?
It was a Word doc, but I couldn't find it. And I went on the internet and said sometimes, it could be a destination you didn't realize you put. But I searched everywhere. I did the massive search of everything and couldn't find the document. And then it said it could be temporary files. So I looked through temp files.
To give their first job post premium visibility as a sponsored job.
Now, this file won't allow me to.
Indeed.com/promo. Terms, conditions.
It won't allow me to attach it. I have such weird energy. I am such a
for a long time. A record number of people are leaving Colorado.
Attachment
Still
failed.
more are coming though. So
Cannot
what does it mean
attach.
for our state?
It says I have 0 kilobytes. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with me today. I think it's Dan. I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK.
I am so proud that I've been able to do this show, the longest running show in America right now, with the same host. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Mark, every time I say that, every single time,
the Grand Ole Opry,
I get the same guy who emails me every single time.
Biggest fan.
He has no life.
Your biggest fan.
And he comes up with different examples and I always shoot him down. Nope, here's why. Nope, here's why. Nope, different host. Nope, show's not running now. Nope, this is not. This is not. I never said the longest running show ever. I said the longest running show. It's the longest running show on the air. Although there have been a lot of...
There's that one in Canada.
Yeah.
I forget what it is now, but...
Okay, Mark. I said in the universe, so I have to say America. Renee, welcome. What's going on, Renee?
So, on November 7th this year, my wife got rear-ended in a three-way accident. She was the front car, and it bent the frame, so the insurance company is calling it a total loss.
Yeah.
And
they don't like frame damage, man. They don't like it.
Yeah, yeah. So what they're offering is like 80 to 50 or something like that. And, it's kind of strange because we went...
Hello? Renee? Renee just got disconnected. Let the record show that it was not me. But I do want to talk to you, Renee, seriously, if you're listening. Give me a call, brother. When you are totaled, all kinds of bad things can happen. Okay, Eric Reinemer, we talked about taxes many years. We've been talking about it forever. There's always changes. That's one thing keeps your job alive at Atlas CPA as an advisor. So, what do we have to do this month? Taking into consideration the current tax codes and everything, what do we need to do? What are some of the things we need to do right now? And don't assume we've done them.
The biggest things are, A, take any deductions you can, like in a retirement plan. If you've got a business, find every expense that you can. And if you haven't been paying in taxes, get some paid in so you don't get dinged for penalties and interest.
Okay.
Those are the biggies.
Good. What about people who have IRAs?
Max it out. The nice thing about an IRA is
right?
You have until April 15th to fund an IRA for this year.
Alan, you have a tax question. Go ahead.
Yes, I do, Tom. Basically, I am married to a Chinese national, and I have a home here and one in Wuhan, China. Does her income, her retirement income, and her income get taxed here?
Okay. Well, does her income that she earns in China, are you asking?
Well, yes.
I often wonder about that. Is she an American citizen?
No, she's not. She doesn't even have a green card yet. I guess best thing to do is just keep my mouth shut,
Well, no. How does she get to the country?
Oh, she flies.
No. I mean, how does she enter? Does she have a visa?
Yeah, she has a visa.
What is it called? Is it a visitor's visa?
Well, it's the same one I have. It's a 10-year visa, yeah. And then and she has to put in where she's going, and that's...
Yeah, but how long can she stay in the country at any one time?
Oh, 6 months.
But do you have to leave after that, technically?
Yeah, which is okay, because I go there.
Now, are you an American citizen?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so here's what I want to know, Eric. If someone lives, she's not even an American. She just lives overseas and visits. She doesn't have to pay income tax from there.
So Alan and she are married. So you're filing. And you're filing it.
In Denver, Colorado. We got marriage papers.
So
you'll be filing jointly.
You're filing joint, right?
Well, no, I filed jointly, but I leave that blank.
Okay, which part do you leave blank, Renee? I'm sorry, Alan. Sorry, Alan. Which part do you leave blank?
Her income.
Okay. Does she earn any income in America?
No.
Okay. So, he's married to a Chinese national. She does not live here. So, can he even file jointly properly?
Absolutely. We have clients like that.
Okay, so is her income in China taxable? I would say no, she doesn't even live here.
Does she live here, Alan, or back and forth?
She visits only.
Yeah. Technically, the technical answer is the way the IRS works.
Yes, that's what I want to know.
Anybody filing a U.S. tax return who's married, you report your worldwide income on your U.S. tax return, and then if you're paying taxes in another country,
you subtract.
You get a credit for that tax you pay in China.
So if that tax in China exceeds the tax in the U.S.,
it's all good. Then it's a wash.
But you don't get any money back.
No, you just get a credit up to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So they don't want you to be double taxed.
Right.
But that's if you live in another country. I mean, if you have income from another country. Now, what about me? If I live here and have income, is it the same exact rule?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, Renee, does she pay tax in China? I mean, Alan, I'm sorry. Renee is the guy next. Alan, hold on a second, and we'll come back to you. 303-713-TALK.
If you're anywhere near my age and you've been in athletic...
To be straight on that, I feel like an idiot.
Well, that was the last name I'd written down, too.
You're uncomfortable, you can't do so much you want to do, but you don't want the pain and the cost and the months of rehab that come from a joint replacement.
Can you talk about what taxes you can declare bankruptcy or don't you know?
You mean what you can get rid of in bankruptcy?
I got a question.
Not much, huh?
Yeah, no, most of it follows you. You can file an appeal to get a discount. That's a good decision question.
He's the owner of Pro Auto Care for 25 years, and they give a 36,000-mile warranty.
We're doing a lot of stuff with Steve. It's a great connection.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's great.
He's a smart guy, man.
Yeah. And they know they don't want to deal with 5 years of back taxes, so they just pass it our way.
Yeah. Yep. That's not their niche, man.
Yeah.
This is Denver's Talk Station, 630 K-House, an iHeart radio station with Russ Kaminsky mornings, Michael Brown afternoons, KHOW.
I just wanted to go over a couple updates to see if you wanted them on the air. The guy that called because his mom lived in a trailer forever and a day, then it got sold, and then they took her garage. Well, we got her half her garage. Do you want that on the air?
So when you talk, this
Okay.
just let you know.
I talked to Maddie. We've got a couple $100 short. We're waiting for that to get back. Billy, and then the Jennifer one, I'm on the fence about whether we should update that on the air or not.
Oh man, you're good.
She's the one with the USAA.
So that's all good. The numbers good.
You should,
yeah. Okay.
When I talked to we have one more permanent available, Larry.
I talked to USA.
Oh, no, we don't.
I don't know if she's actually got her hand yet.
No, forget it.
Okay, let me call.
We rotate. We only have 3 hours a day, so we only rotate 6. And I thought we had one spot where we don't. We had a criminal attorney.
That's your camera, so when you talk, I can in on that. So okay. That on there. Does that end up on the website then? Do you just post this every day? Is it live or does it stay there residually?
It's there forever.
Okay. Facebook and YouTube.
Go to YouTube and then go to podcasts for the show and put on the right day.
YouTube, it's at Troubleshooter Network. So could we grab anything from there and drag it over to our website, or is that a no-touch type deal?
No, you can do that.
Wow, that's cool.
Absolutely. That's what's on the internet, isn't it? Fair game?
No.
Not?
No, you can just create your rigs.
Oh.
Okay.
Trump is considering recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Turkey, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, France.
Saudi Arabia.
Thanks,
It sounds so smart. Hear about that place, that 12,000-year-old place in South Turkey, where they found all these carvings of animals that are only native to Mexico?
Yeah, that's kind of wild.
Roadrunners, buffalo, armadillos.
No way. Really?
Yeah, and it's in South Turkey. Those animals they've never dug up a skeleton of any of them.
Where's
Tepe Gobe? How do you think they got there?
They don't know. These are
What's the carbon dating on the bones? How old are they?
There is no bones. They're carvings of those animals.
Oh.
That were never native there.
I see what you're saying.
So you're saying they might have
South Turkey is
carving.
Best-selling brand. Celebrate
Yeah.
with
There's big megalithic
APR financing for 72 months, plus 1,000 Ford credit cash across a full lineup of
Yeah, that's it.
SUVs.
Right here?
Yeah.
Best-selling based on 2016 sales. Not all
They
buyers
still don't have
qualify
that.
for Ford credit financing. 72 months of
Well,
$13.89
that's
support for
but these are
1,000
broken
financing
out.
regardless of down payment on cars, F-150, and SUVs. Not available on
There's a cat.
Yeah, but there's
350, 350R, Raptor, or Super Duty.
There's turkey.
Yeah, on Discovery Channel they were showing
Well-
roadrunners and they're carvings, just stone carvings like that. just like these, but they were all financing. Nothing.
Well, there's Mammoth. There's I don't see any.
Tomorrow, a high of 38. Thursday, mostly cloudy with a high of 39.
Yeah, they're stuck with that. That's an armadillo.
Is it?
Yeah, well, I think it was, that was one of them they named.
American Finance.
Named armadillos, roadrunners.
Financing.net. NMLS 182334. Regulated by the Division of Real Estate.
Have you gotten to notice?
That's like a Mammoth. I don't think that's
a buffalo. Or that might be a buffalo. And bison anyway. They rattled off all these animals that they have now found. They've been digging this out for it's the oldest, 12,000 years old.
It's the oldest running carving in the history of the world.
Yep. But the oldest.
No, don't say that. You'll get an email.
These here carvings and stuff. Like
what do you think about Matt Lauer?
He's
a pig.
But they're like animals.
Did you hear what Katie was saying about him?
Native to New Mexico.
He would grab you to pinch your ass all the time.
They don't know why.
Well, you think that's normal?
It's not normal behavior in New Mexico and South Turkey. Those animals have never been in South Turkey.
Do you think they had a thing though at one time?
Mark,
spaceships moving back and forth.
Yeah. What?
It doubles the amount of times that I'll tell you what I don't like. They had civilization broke up from about 6,000 years. This is
jokes like racial jokes. Yeah, people used to be all the time. Carving. Even now, they think it's okay. But I've never liked it when they're hateful. Like I like jokes about Italians, like this, the funny kind, like they talk with their hands and that kind of stuff. But I don't like jokes that are hateful.
Usually, it's the family and loved ones who recommend.
But usually they were told like back home there was Norwegians and Polacks.
There was a ton of Polak jokes with them.
That's because a lot of people
now they say simpleton.
Right, they were all right.
Or redneck.
Help the addict in your life.
Yeah.
But we didn't have redneck.
Heroin, ecstasy.
Well, those are
You're offending Dan.
Yeah.
Biggest thing right now.
He grew up by the creek.
I was.
Has caused problems for many.
More bridges.
A loved one who
Did you grow up here?
in
Minnesota.
Here's the number for the Raleigh House: 720-89.
Mark thinks it's funny.
What's that?
Minnesota's talking about Iowa.
Oh, it's so funny.
There's some joke that Iowans tell about Minnesotans, but I can't remember what it is.
The RaleighHouse.com.
You say that.
720-893-5555.
Why is it so windy in Minnesota? Yeah, because Wisconsin blows and North Dakota sucks.
I think so.
Something like that.
A Minnesotian, a Wisconsin, and a rabbi walking
A lot of stuff. Mark, the Raleigh House has too many spots, I think he's knocking our heads off.
This is the Troubleshooter Show.
What do they run? One a day? Or did you just hear one?
At least 3 or 4. For sure.
Look at their acquisition.
Hi, Tom Martino here. Welcome to the show. 40 years of fighting for you in Denver. Well, not quite 40, but coming up on it. And I am so proud to be able to help people. If you had to sum up the show, that's really what it's about. Helping, helping, helping. I never could figure out why I piss people off that I don't go after to where they don't like me. Now, I mean, I'm sure. First of all, I believe you got to know someone to not like them. But I don't care if you don't like me. Trust me, I'd like you to like me. But what I mean is this. I don't know how you draw the conclusion. That's what I mean. How do you draw a conclusion like that based on this show? This show is about helping people. Oh, yeah, I get mad at people sometimes and I'm abrupt with people sometimes. But that is the show. It's effective. Millions of dollars in cash, merchandise, exchanges, refunds, and services. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. A liver. Ooh.
That's right, Tom.
Yesterday, thank God the surgery went well. We won't mention anything else. It's all anonymous now, but it's wonderful. A liver. That probably was one of the highlights of my career, the liver. Doing a campaign, socially able to connect a donor with the person and saving a life. Wow. Eric Reinemer's with us from Atlas CPAs and Advisors. We're talking about taxes, anything to do with finances, taxes, tax deductions, bookkeeping, and we'll talk about that. All you have to do is call 303-713-TALK. We're also going to talk about anything you want because we never have a single topic show. And this hour is brought to you by Joe Lazzara. He's a criminal defense attorney, Joe Lazzara. I hope you never need him. I say this all the time. The reason I say that is there is no reason in the world for a DUI. No reason. Just don't drink and drive. Don't try to figure it out. So many people try to figure it out. You know, Joe used to offer this app that helps you figure it out. He decided not to do that even. Just get Uber or just get Lyft. That's what I would do. Or a designated driver, or just don't drink. But listen, the holidays are coming up, and there will still be people who think, oh, I'm at an office party, I'm only going to have a couple drinks, and they end up being over the limit without knowing it. 303-429-6200, 303-429-6200, LazzaraLegal.com. Keep the number. Hope you don't need it. Hey, when we talk about taxes, people put them in categories, but we're mostly talking about income taxes. That's really what we're talking about. But what about withholding tax? Is an employee responsible if the employer withholds the tax but doesn't pay it? With some companies getting in financial trouble, this happens once in a while. Are the employees responsible if the employer absconds with his withholdings?
Well, yeah, that's the situation with Don Eiley, right?
Well, he was a payroll service.
Right.
That was a little different in that, well, hold on. What I mean a little different is Don Eiley collected payroll taxes and did not pay them. The employer entrusted him and gave him authority. The employer would be responsible. The employer, because that was the agent of the employer. I'm talking about the employee. If I am working for a big company like Walmart and they take off with my withholdings, I'm not saying Walmart would do it, obviously. Let's take a ABC company, and they take my money that I have paid in. Will I have to pay them again? No.
No.
But the employer is responsible even if they allow someone else to do it.
Right.
And here's something else. If you work for someone and you have check signing authority, what happens then? And the taxes, your boss says don't pay the taxes. What happens? You're in trouble, right?
You could be individually held responsible for that money.
Unbelievable. Yeah. That is serious stuff. Could you imagine? And we have had bookkeepers indicted for that. Scott has a follow-up we want to talk about. He said his mom had a trailer and she was renting it. The guy that owned it sold it. And they were very upset with how the whole thing went down. But part of it was the new landlord said, oh, we'll keep your rent the same. We'll keep everything the same, except they took her garage. They basically just took her garage. Now, Scott admits nothing was in writing. Did she have an original lease in writing, Scott?
Yeah, she did with my uncle. That was her brother. Her brother bought that for her as a place for her to stay because she was not.
And then he sold it.
Yeah, he sold it, but we had we had talked about the conditions of the lease before, but we had nothing in writing.
Yeah. But the original thing, she had the trailer and she had the garage. After the sale, they take the garage. Did they raise the rent a lot? Out of curiosity.
$500.
They raised it $500?
You bet your boots they did.
Holy crap! That's a lot of money.
I gave you just a brief overview, but this is a bad thing.
Well,
but I have no choice. I can't move my mother. She's 80. You know, it's just too much stress for her.
So Clint, Deputy Clint, he really does a good job, man. We sicked him on this problem, and we didn't get it 100% thing, but I'll tell you, he did better than I thought. And you probably know already, right, Scott? Does he? He knows.
I think so, yeah.
So, Clint, explain what happened. What did you do with the landlord?
Yeah, I just talked
was it as represented? The landlord did agree to keep everything the same?
Yeah, pretty much. But, I talked to her. She hadn't been approached about, but she was very willing to split it with them. I think that's how it ended up.
So, the landlord said she can have half the garage, basically. Is that what it was? Is that Scott?
Oh, yeah. In our previous conversation, she said nothing, you're getting nothing, you got to do it yourself.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, she springed into, okay, well, let's have half.
Well, that's nice.
That's nice. Let's look at the bright side, right, Scott?
Well, you're 100% right. I mean, at this point, I'll take what I can get. I just want my mom to be safe. That's all. And she did that. Fine. Let's just go with it.
Okay. Well,
I think you guys did a good job too. By the way, he called me the next day, and your other the gal called me today. You guys did a good job on the follow-up. That's rare these days. I'm going to tell you that.
Well, thank you, Scott. I'm happy we were able to help your mom. I'd like to ask a question. Why, the brother, when he went to sell it, did he sell it to somebody he knew?
No. Okay. Well, yeah, not necessarily. He knew her through some transactions, but he was also, when I talked to him about this, he was also blown away because he was really, the sale was contingent on my mom being the same. And
well, you would have thought he'd put it in writing. I mean, if it was contingent on your mom being the same, you would have thought that he'd put it in writing because there's nothing to keep that new landlord from evicting her, really.
Yeah, and that's 100% true. And I should have been on top of it, and he should have been on top of it, but it wasn't. And we were pretty much all done with the situation. I mean, we had no.
Okay.
He was going to get it, and that was that.
Well, at least Deputy Clint, thank you. You did take care of that. Did a great job, and at least we have that done. So good. And Scott, if you could talk to if you hung up or talk to Suzanne, I'd like to. Okay, 303-713-TALK. Many times what we do is ask people, I'll just tell you, do you think it's wrong to ask people to review us for what
Nope.
we do? We go on the air and tell people we're going to solve your problem and help you. Now, we can't do it all the time, but when we do it, we'd love a review. When we don't do it, if, let's say we drop the ball, yeah, you want to put up a negative review.
See, you're so much nicer than me. I think of that one guy who bought the tiny house, and they were going to screw him upside down. We basically got the whole thing done, and then he signed an agreement saying he wouldn't talk to us anymore and sent us that nasty letter. I hate helping people, and they say nothing.
I know. Oh, Lynn, an inheritance tax question. What's happening? Most misunderstood tax.
Easy question, I hope. So I am just curious about the exposure, tax-wise, of an inheritance. There must be a formula or such.
Yeah. So are you going to inherit money?
Yes.
How much?
Oh, could be a couple $100K.
Okay. You hold on and we'll talk about it. And if you want a best friend, just hang out too. I'll give you my number and email. So 303-713-TALK is the number. Brent Ivinson from Ideal Home Loans is here now to discuss that you should get your loan now. Why? People say, you know what, I'll take care of everything after the holidays, but that's not necessarily a great idea.
No, it's not. You know, we first have this trend that we see year in and year out where we see rates jump right after the holidays. Now, we've got some additional forces at work this year that are also going to influence that. You've got the Federal Reserve meeting. They're likely to hike short-term rates, and so the people that are going to be directly impacted right away by that, anybody with a home equity line of credit, anybody with an adjustable rate mortgage, anybody with credit card debt. Then we have this tax law that they are trying to get passed and put in before Christmas. That is likely to send the stock market off to the races. So I know it's a busy time of year. I know a lot of people have a lot of things going on. We can spend 15 minutes up front with you on the phone. Quick meeting either via phone, in our office, at your home, get everything started, and then get your loan wrapped up so that you can start the new year with a lower monthly payment and saving money. And the great thing right now, rates are still at some of their lowest levels of the year, but they won't be if you wait until after the holidays.
And payments don't start till when right now?
Right now, no payment on your new loan until March.
Oh, man, that's great. Brent Ivinson, Ideal Home Loans. You have all kinds of reasons to want to investigate refinancing or purchasing. 303-867-7000. 303-867-7000. Or idealhomeloans.com. Part of the reason people get a loan is to buy a place, and if you're looking, Frank Duran, therealestateman.com in the Denver metro area and north. And I'll tell you about Frank. He is the best when it comes to listing because he doesn't just put up a sign and walk away. He proactively sells most of his own listings. He sells them for quicker times and more money. Stats he has to show that and prove it. 303-920-1622. 920-1622. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com.
Never dissolved.
Okay.
And so So that
See whose face better.
delinquent charge that Ron dissolved. And he said if you can find the paperwork that it was actually
Oh yeah, let me show you, man.
fax it to me. But I looked through the office and I think
So here's the thing, though. We end up dragging this thing up every day. So I was wondering if we could take this route. We plug right into your network downstairs, and then basically just put it up there. Let's store it behind this thing.
Yeah.
I want to
I
talk
think
about
it's a really good idea to talk about this.
We could maybe have a great thing for you to do it. I don't know. But
It's been dormant for a few years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to get it is hard.
That takes a lot.
Brad Pitt now has the well.
Yeah, you can have more than one.
He's in
That's
Moreland.
that's not a trademark.
So that's good. So it should be.
We have
Make It Right.
Okay.
Foundation, yeah, Make It Right.
The Brad Pitt.
The Brad Pitt.
So,
Are you on
So-
podcast? Higher paying mortgage insurance?
just have Brad pay a little bit.
No, that's this right here. I believe
There you go.
is literally from our office,
That's literally our name.
and we generally do use this one.
For a few $100,000.
All of a sudden, this thing would drop up
Then it'll just dissolve itself.
So I'm not quite
Yeah,
sure why.
normally if you don't pay the annual fee of $50, it just goes down.
It goes dormant, but obviously they will end up sending you to collections if you don't dissolve it.
So is that what it?
That's what happened here. So I went in and dissolved mine because I was like,
That's good news. I got a couple more.
yeah.
So what is it, like $50 a year or something?
Yeah.
Yes,
And
yeah.
they'll send it to collections for $50?
Yeah.
The state will? Boy, that's hard.
But that's not the
Yeah,
advice
no, I
we're
get it.
giving, which really makes me
Yeah, I
mad.
get it.
So it was $10 to dissolve it.
Yeah,
So I went ahead and I did it, and I of course went through, should I have kept it? Because I keep going back and forth.
So it goes
This is
from
what I'm like,
Picture our cable modem and our suite dissolved, and then apparently it goes to the basement. And then it gets
yeah.
Was yours an LLC?
and then up to here.
Same thing
At
with
first
the
when he ran it,
nonprofit.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anything in between. No, we couldn't even get
But
more
I
than,
hadn't
1
dissolved
megabyte
it.
up
I
and down.
hadn't.
Oh.
They said just
Then
leave it and
something
they'll
got
go
connected
dormant.
to it.
No, I mean, if the
And it
LLC
seemed to
is
work better, but it seems to
Dormant.
drop.
Yeah.
Not dormant, but
Just invalid. It's
That
not
would be cool, and then we'll just start using that one.
recognized at the state
And then if
level.
we can just take that and then
Yes.
mount it under there, and then we'll just have a cable coming out of it that we plug into our laptop.
But obviously
And then we're
not.
completely.
So what's
I
different? I mean, like
talked
they
to
charge you, are they charging a non-fee?
Yeah, so they charge for delinquent.
I've never seen that before. LLC or
Well, then I started-
Yeah, he called in a cabling company.
Scam, so I
It's
double
probably
checked
about a
to
year
see all
ago.
the numbers
They ran it.
matched up so that it wasn't a scam that would be.
How much
So
was
yeah,
it?
you guys talked.
$50?
Well, 60, but then now it's 70, 80 for the $10.80 collection fee of collection.
No, it doesn't matter what cable we're using.
So.
I've never seen the state go after somebody.
Was it years later?
No, he said it's
Hey,
since
did that guy
2014.
win? That judge that was was dating children.
Oh, more?
All right, I'll hold on to this, I printed everything out for you.
The other guy retired though. The oldest guy in the Senate retired today.
I thought he was wasn't just going to run. So
Was
actually
he
I think he retired.
accused of anything?
Lots. He's the one that paid off with the congressional slush fund, paid off these women.
He was Congress, not the Senate.
The government paid or
83.
Yeah, there's a secret, well, it was secret slush fund for this shit.
But he was the oldest.
Can you believe it? They voted themselves exempt from sexual harassment laws. It's the most fucking crazy thing you've ever heard.
They created a slush fund to pay them off.
And then then have a slush fund to pay them off. 18 million over, I want to say 15 years.
They paid
Yeah, 18
$18 million?
Yeah, over like 10, 15 years.
We're talking Congress, 18 million?
But it wasn't just on him.
No, it was all kinds of
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. Welcome. I heard a statistic I feel was crazy. Mark just said that Congress paid out in a secret slush fund $18 million.
Yeah, somewhere like $15 to $20 million over the past X amount of years. Isn't that insane?
For congressmen that harass people.
Yeah, remember we had the lady on from the
EEOC.
Yeah, last week, and I questioned her on it because it's ironic that she goes after these different companies where there's sexual harassment claims, but at the same time, she works for people that exempt themselves from it. It's,
all right, now
it's insanity.
It's crazy. We have Lynn, who wants to know about inheritance. Okay, inheritance tax is the most misunderstood tax. Eric, in a nutshell, if you receive an inheritance, do you ever have to pay tax when you receive an inheritance?
Only in one situation. Generally, inheritances are received tax-free unless you inherit an IRA, some kind of retirement vehicle.
Or, okay, what about a stock?
No, a stock, you receive it. If you receive it when somebody passes away, you receive it at the same tax basis as what it's worth when the person passed away.
Okay.
Step up. Yeah.
So then if you sell it in a month or two and it raises, then you pay on that.
Just that little tiny piece.
Right. Okay. But with IRAs, what's the difference?
With an IRA, somebody's got to pay that tax on that deductible event from before. So, for example, if you inherit, Lynn, a $10,000 IRA, you would eventually, over time, pay taxes on the $10,000 as you take it out each year. But if the other $190,000 was just stocks, that would be free to you.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is no tax.
You know, he brings up something interesting. One of the changes that'll probably go through drives me crazy, and it's FIFO, first in, first out on stocks. Imagine if you worked for, like, GE your entire life, and you acquired this stock over your entire life at different times, and some of the first stock you got was $10 back in 1980.
So, because you have to go by the basis you acquired it, right?
Well, yeah, right now...
Isn't that right?
Yes, correct. Right now, I can say, okay, I own 100 shares at $100 and 100 shares at $10. When I sell this lot of 100, I can designate which ones.
You should be able to sell which ones you want.
Yeah,
when
now, apparently, you're not going to be able to do that, and who that really hurts is a lot of retirees that have accumulated company stock over a long period of time. Because when they finally have to start using this, they take the hardest hit at the beginning.
Well, when I used
for capital gains.
When I used to develop land, you would have development costs. So to make it easy to understand, let's say it cost you $100,000 to develop 100 lots. You have a development cost of $1,000 per lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what we would do sometimes is we would designate most of the development costs on some of the lots. We didn't even it out. You were able to say, well, these were more to develop, and push your taxes to the end.
Yep.
But you can't do that anymore. Well, that happened a long time ago with land. We got a lot of people who want to talk. Sarah wants to ask about gifts as well. This is not an inheritance, but she's asking about gifts, right, Sarah? Are you? Oh, I'm sorry. Sarah's here. There you go, Sarah. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I'm wondering about giving a financial gift to a family member, and I had heard that you can do that and then not have to pay taxes on that money.
Well, when you give away, I want to answer that properly. It's not a deduction when you give it away, and it's not before taxes. You were thinking you could give away money, like, for example, if you gave away $25,000 from your income, you wouldn't have to pay tax on that $25,000?
Yeah, I'm hoping to set up a college fund for my son.
Okay, and you wanted, but okay, you're looking to set up a college fund, but what does the gift have to do with that?
Well, I'm just trying to, I came into a lot of money this year. I'm trying to...
Okay, you want to lower... Okay, if you come into a lot of money and you give away some of that money, you can do that, but it doesn't lower your tax, does it?
No, it's just a gift.
Right, but you have to pay taxes on gifts. Sarah.
Okay.
So how much did you come into?
A couple $100,000.
I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked that other guy. Do you got a best friend you want somebody to have coffee with? No, just kidding. So listen, Sarah.
Can't she put it in a 529 and then not pay ordinary income on it?
What can she do with a couple $100,000 to avoid tax?
Well, now, did you receive it as a gift or did you inherit it?
No, I received it as an income. The practice that I work for was purchased.
Okay, and they bonused you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you receive, is it stock or is it W-2 type income?
It was cash income.
So what do you want? What's your question then?
No, she wanted to know, can she give some of it to her son or establish a college fund?
She wants to shelter some of it, not pay
taxes. She wants to reduce her tax. If she does one of those IRAs,
she could do a Roth, she could do a traditional.
But with a Roth, you pay tax on the money you put in.
Yeah, but you don't pay tax on it when you pull it out.
Right.
But how about a 529 for a kid for college? How much can she shove in there?
I think you can put up to $20,000, but the only issue there is that is only a deduction at the Colorado tax level, not at the IRS level.
Okay.
Wait. But does it get deducted from federal tax?
No.
Oh, at all?
Not at all.
It's only what? It's only
a 4.6% Colorado tax level tax. But Sarah, do you have any retirement plans you're a part of? Something you could max out?
I did. I maxed out my 401k.
That's good. That's the first step.
Yeah, you have your own business by any chance?
No.
If she had a little business, she could do a SEP, drop 50 grand.
Yeah, you could do a SEP. But as far as anything you give away, you can give away as much as you want, but you pay tax on it. The good news is the recipient doesn't. John Fuller from Fuller Law, he's on the air to answer a question. Renee, go ahead, Renee. We have John Fuller on now, our personal injury attorney, and he can answer some questions. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so my wife got in a car accident on November 7th. It was a three-way collision. She was at the front, and she got hit so hard it bent the frame. So the insurance company said that they're going to give us salvage value.
Well, now I thought this was a personal injury question. Was your wife hurt?
It is. My wife's back's been hurting.
Have you, okay, first, well, let's take two separate issues. Because we have John now, I want to talk about the personal injury, then I'll answer the other question. So as far as your wife, has she gone to a doctor?
No, because, no, that you're right. Should she call the defendant's insurance company and notify them?
Oh, my God! You don't call John, talk. John.
Sorry.
Okay, so first things first, the very first place that we're going to look for coverage for things like medical care and stuff is going to be on our own policy under something called medical payments coverage. If you have that, it should be in a minimum of $5,000, and you should be able to set that up just by calling your own insurance company and let them know what happened.
And there's no penalty to using that at all. They don't raise your rates or anything.
That's what I wanted to know. Is that...
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
okay,
a great
so
question.
I should call my insurance company.
Right. Now, what John just said, everyone should have, and check their policies today, MedPay. It's called MedPay. And you should have it because it costs very little. It can't be, it's not subrogated against, and it doesn't penalize you for using it. So, so if you have MedPay, that's your first place. John, you were talking about other places to go?
Yeah, so even if you do or don't have MedPay, ultimately the defendant is going to be responsible. In your case, was there one impact that then hit your wife, or were there two separate accidents?
It was the guy from the very end hit the guy behind my wife, and he hit my wife.
Gotcha. Number 3 hit number 2, and they hit your wife.
Who's responsible in that case, John?
Number 3, the last guy, the one that did the first collision, is going to be responsible for both victims, the car that he hit and the car that car ran into.
Okay.
And so you need to, you need to kind of think about it in those terms. If there were multiple people in any of the vehicles, and we have multiple claimants and stuff, that can all have a significant impact on how the claim will play out. But the most important thing is to get your wife to see a medical professional, get the care that she needs, start documenting her injuries. This cannot wait.
No, it can't.
2 or 3 weeks and let time go by worrying about the salvage value of your car, you might have kind of foreclosed the most important damage, and that's what was done to your wife.
Yeah, listen, Renee, I've had people ignore injuries from an accident that came back to haunt them a year or 2 later, and it was too late for them to do anything about it. We don't encourage false claims, but for God's sakes, if you've been in a rear-end collision, she could have some injuries, and I would go to a doctor and check that out immediately. I would also use MedPay and keep track of everything, as John says, and do not talk to the other party. You're under no obligation ever at all to talk to the other party. Isn't that right, John?
You do not have to give them a statement. You do not have to talk to them about your medical conditions. Obviously, you can talk to them to the extent necessary to set up the claim and let them know who you are. But if liability is not in question, they don't need to take your statements. They cannot deny your claim, and nothing really good ever comes out of a recorded statement.
Even if liability is at question, you don't have to answer their questions, or you can ask them to submit those questions in writing. So many times they get you on the phone, they start recording, and they try to trip you up. As John said, nothing good can come from it. Now, John, go ahead.
Now, here's the deal. We haven't talked to them about any medical issues. We just we had talked to them about the value of the car.
Okay, now we can take that separately, but I want to make something clear. Okay? Okay. John, I want you, even if the other party says we're taking full responsibility, I want you to at least. They did say that.
Yes.
You know what? Now, when they say that, you think, oh, that's good. I'm off guard now. You know, and John, sometimes they say that on purpose to put you off guard.
Well, accepting responsibility for causing the accident is not at all the same thing as accepting responsibility for all of the damages that flow from the accident.
Right.
Those are two very, very different things. The bulk of my practice is centered around accidents where liability is not at all in question.
So here's okay, and John,
battle about the damages.
Now, and where to find money. So here's what I want to say. John Fuller Law, I want you to have a consultation with an attorney. I recommend John Fuller. I'm not telling you to hire one, but do not let grass grow when it comes to getting a consultation about the injuries. It will cost you nothing. Even if he takes the case, it'll just cost you a percentage of the settlement. But the initial thing will not cost a dime. You need to get some advice. Trust me, 303-597-4500. Now, when it comes to your car, we're going to take that issue, but I first have to do another thing. I have to do this, okay? But I want you to really stay tuned for the car thing, because they're going to try to screw you on the car for sure. Speaking of cars, I can think of great places on my referral list to take your car. One of them is Budget A1 Transmission and Auto Repair with their Find, Fix, or Free Special. Any part, any problem will not cost you more than $89 in labor. That's their guarantee. Or the whole call is free and you get a complete written diagnostic. Remember what I'm saying now. That if you go there with any problem, and they do transmissions, auto, manual, they do all systems in the car. He's been around more than 27 years and on my referral list for nearly 20 years. For $89 labor, they'll do any repair on the car except a few major ones. And those major ones will be spelled out in writing, so you have a complete free diagnostic. So you either pay $89 plus parts, or you pay nothing, but at least you'll know exactly what's wrong. Budget A1 Transmission and Auto Repair, 3201 South Santa Fe. That's on Santa Fe, just south of Dartmouth, 303-781-9858, 781-9858.
I know. He was talking more about his cars than his wife.
He used to take claims on Harleys. And the guy's wife had a Lego truck one, but he'd have the Harleys. The kid
called up and
first, you know.
The husband was in
What job was
critical
care. Oh, we gotta fucking talk about that. You didn't tell us that.
The biggest problem was with the tow truck. That was
USAA, cool. You were in Denver?
Yeah. I love USAA.
Did you?
I had to deal with a lot of other insurance companies. They've gotten so bad.
I got a call.
USAA is just, you know, there was officers only for years.
No, it just went yellow, but it didn't drop or anything.
That's officer and gentleman mentality.
You know, my family's been involved for years. I graduated sort of for the Senate. So we got involved in this, and then they, disseminate to any family members.
Yeah.
I wonder why they even have this table.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't, I mean, you'll have people come along with sure people have rights sometimes, even though their wife can't beat them overall.
No, I don't have them for insurance. I had this for some investment stuff.
Yeah, and then there's this one, but overall, they're just a notch above everybody else.
Your retirement savings will last throughout
They're
your
really
retirement
easy to
years.
deal with.
This is Linda Gardner with
So did he leave, or when did you? I thought he just wasn't going to go into the next
91 election.
help you create a
But you said he retired?
It says 84 I got in an
A
accident.
strategy to
Broke my
show
back
you
and
what you can spend with
I was
confidence,
in a wheelchair for about a
maintain
year
your
and a half.
lifestyle.
He endorses his son, 91, 27-year-old on my
Was
left.
the governor
lit up
get the
on
picture?
fire.
Ensure you have
Screaming.
income to last your
I was
lifetime.
laid up.
His son is 27 years old?
How they could stop
Or
it.
he had him when he was 61?
They could just cut my foot off. They said, no, it's a short circuit in the back. So it's not
Anytime
doing
you work
good.
out, live. Call right
Anyway,
now.
I've had 6 back.
His son is
came in and I do
good
great.
at grabbing ass too.
But I couldn't work. Couldn't work right.
He knows exactly where the slush fund money is.
So I had to retire at the tender age of 34.
We talk a lot about
Here's that bad FBI guy.
extensive research, which led me to
Before he
Centennial
comes.
Schultz Clinic right here in Colorado. They're internationally recognized for their work with
I
stem
was
cells.
able
They're
to
all MD, working with true living stem cells.
I took the helicopter up the other night.
Or bone marrow.
Yeah.
And just that little bit of air poop flying out the doing screwed me up.
MDs deliver
It's
the
amazing.
Oh, you got the air coop back out?
Yeah, I got it running
in
man.
church.
It's running. I had the annual done and everything. It's beautiful. I love it.
This little air coop.
So what does that mean, Brian? What does that mean?
It's a little two-seater. It's called an air coupe. ERCOUPE. It's beautiful.
My legacy's done in the 1940s with heat. Seriously,
Is that what he
colored
said?
maroon and grays. And they said, it's really pretty. It's beautiful.
I did it.
And they
ground up.
People restoration, and they don't. I have a great family, and especially my oldest boy. Steering wheel. This is the.
His 27-year-old is the oldest?
Are you embarrassed by yourself?
He's got younger ones than
Oh, I just that was no, that was just something I did. I didn't want you to. There it is.
Dr. Barrett's with Barrett's
That's different.
Let me see.
Isn't it cute?
Oh, no, it's CBS.
Yeah, on the other side.
Oh, the other side. Okay.
Isn't it cute? ERCOUPE. Isn't that your hangar? One of them?
Yeah.
Isn't this whole row yours?
Yep. They
You're a pilot also?
yeah.
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 But and Clint owns almost all the hangars up at Front Range Airport. He rents them out.
Oh, Front Range.
Yeah.
I had a big, strategic simulation. They rented out there at Front Range.
Yeah.
For
Probably
years.
rent from him.
No, they're up in the front, up at Big Blue.
Who owns this big hangar? Oh, they all are individually.
On the
big
west-
60 by 60s that Doug built.
If you're looking
Oh, they're all individuals. They're all
Doug
contractors.
did a nice job.
Yeah, he did.
I like him.
A
A lot of
Range
people
really
don't like
screwed up. The west of Front Range Parkway, all that big stuff they built over there.
How comforting it
Airmen
is to have
rented some of it. That is still.
I love that whole west side.
They're still
You're talking
putting
about is it the west or the east side? The empty airport, I call it.
Yeah.
The ramp. It's a whole separate ramp and everything.
West of the. You're driving in to the left, to the west side. All the brand new stuff over there by the military.
No, I'm talking about the opposite.
On the other end?
What is that? That's never used over there.
Way east. Yeah, that's the car station and stuff's over there.
Is it now?
The trucks are stored near the car station. There's actually some key hangers over there too.
I love them. I love that area.
Yeah, but nobody goes over there.
Anyway, isn't that pretty?
So you
I did this.
did this?
Oh, I did it. I have all the hard work to prove
Holy
it.
shit, yeah.
When I got this thing, here, I'll show you
How'd you get that skill?
I'll show you this.
I wonder-
Here's the album. Will show what I did. If I can go back. Here's the album. Here's how it came.
You never heard of it?
You get all these looks.
Oh, man.
I don't say selfish. This was just these. Look at those solid crap.
People can't afford those shoes. And
I did it all. I rebuilt everything.
You get all these people saying, "What, aren't you an AMP?"
Can't afford
You
it.
just got one to send off, right?
Oh yeah.
I wish I found some better sounds no one's ever heard. I wish I had
Hi,
a better
Tom
voice and
Martino here.
better words. I wish I
Finally,
found
some lines open. You can get right through 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Welcome to the show with Major Mark Major and Tom Martino, Deputy Dan at the video controls, and we got Brutus at the controls, the other controls, and I think I mentioned everyone, didn't I? Suzanne.
Yes,
The producer. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mention everybody. There. Hey, Renee.
Yes.
So,
hi.
Now that we got that part out of the way, and you're going to call John Fuller at least for a consultation, let's talk about your vehicle. Now, what year is it?
Could you give me his number again?
Yeah. It's
303-597-4500.
Okay. And his name is John what?
Fuller, F-U-L-L-E-R.
Oh, and by the way, I just wanted to say congratulations on your 40th anniversary, and I like you.
Okay, thank you. So, Renee, let's talk about this car. What year is it?
It's 2007 Suzuki XL7.
Oh, a Suzuki SL7 2000. It's not that bad. So, what are they? Are they going to total it?
Yeah, they say it's salvage value because of the frame.
How much are they going to pay you?
Okay, I think about $8,200.
Is that at dispute with you?
Well, according to the Kelly Blue Book and all that other good stuff, no. But the thing is, looking at, it was not even our fault, and we got hit rear-ended.
No, I understand. So, yeah, you should be paid. But I'm asking first a few things. Are you satisfied with the amount, or are you feeling that's not enough?
Well, it seems fair, but the thing is, to replace the vehicle...
Let me sum up your problem. You're exactly right. Here's what everyone said. Mark, tell me how many times we've heard this. Okay,
constantly.
I was rear-ended, or we were hit, or it was parked. It's absolutely not my fault. My car was destroyed. Now, no fault of my own. Due to no fault of my own, I have to come up with $3,000 to $4,000 or to $5,000 more just to get what I had because he ruined it. And even though technically it's only worth $8,000, you can't find him for $8,000, and so I'm forced to spend more money. Does that sum it up?
That pretty much is it.
And sometimes there's negative equity involved, which even gets worse.
Yeah.
In order to buy a new car, I got to pay off $3,000 more than what they're giving me.
But the courts have judged this and ruled this over and over and over and over, and that is, you are only due what you lost. And the fact that it inconveniences you is not a loss they consider. They do consider pain and suffering, injuries. They do consider diminished value at times. They do consider personal property at times, but they will not consider that your vehicle's old and you can't replace it. However, I should qualify that a little. That $8,200 should be able to buy one like that. So, I mean, because they had to judge the price on something. So, what did they base the price on?
Basically, the salvage value of the car.
No, it's not a salvage value. They give you full value for the car pre-accident. They don't give you salvage value for the car. Do you understand what I'm saying, Renee? If your Suzuki would have sold before the accident for $10,000, then that's what you should get. If people are buying and selling them for $11,000, that's what you should get.
Okay, so
what I'm saying is they don't give you salvage value, for goodness sakes. That's ridiculous. You don't get paid. Well, you knew that, right? I mean, obviously, if you have a brand new Mercedes and you get in a wreck, they don't give you salvage value for it. When they total it, they give you what it's worth. Pre-accident condition. Okay. Otherwise, insurance companies would love to have cars wrecked. Then they get them and sell them. I mean, it would be ridiculous. They pay salvage value for them and repair them and then sell them. They don't do that. The only time you get salvage value for a vehicle, the only time that works is when you want to keep the vehicle. Then, if you want to keep it, for example, if they total it, they take it. If you want to keep it, that's when you get less money than it's worth, because they're letting you keep the car.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things they said is that if you want to keep it, then we'll give you $1,000 deductible less, and then we'll.
How much will it cost to fix?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's probably $4,000 to get it fixed.
The math should work out. Hold on, the math should work out exactly the same. Let me tell you what I mean. If your car was deemed to have $4,000 in damage, okay, then 8,200 is its value when it's fixed. Okay, then you do the math. 8,200 minus 4,000. So then you would be paid the difference. That's what it should happen, and then you should be able to take that $4,000 and fix it and come up with the same value. It should all work out. So if you want to keep the car at 72, they're saying that car has they're saying the car has a lot of damage, and you can have it for. They're saying it's not worth much.
Right, but the thing is...
Well, no, they're only saying you have $1,000. Wait, how does that work? If they're willing to let you keep the car for $7,200, that doesn't make sense. They're saying it only has $1,000 in damage.
No, $1,000 for the deductible.
Okay, then they're saying you have $7,200 in damage is what they're saying. That math should work out. Is that what you have, about $7,200?
Yeah, I think that's what they're saying. But the thing is, once they salvage it out, that changes the insurance coverage.
That's right. That's right. But who cares? You know, if you got a deal. I'm done, Renee. I told you everything you need to know. Okay? There's nothing we can do for you unless the insurance company is not valuing the car properly. Mark, if you don't believe they're valuing it properly, you've been through this, you can make them prove it, right?
Yeah, you just got to find comps what you can buy them for.
And
or what they've sold for is even better.
You go out and find comps and make them supply you with comps, okay? That is the only way to do it. And speaking of it, go to Rocky, 63rd and Federal. If you need a car, truck, SUV, or van, they are loaded with selection. The only thing they don't have junk. They have low price range, sometimes in the $4,000 to $5,000 range. They have all the way up to $50,000. But whatever you pay, you're going to pay thousands less than the street value or than what other dealers are selling for. And if you don't believe it, go shop. They invite you to. Just put them on the list. They have 40 lenders to choose from. They're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 8, 63rd and Federal. 303-426-4646.
But, okay, if you work as an adjuster, truly, weren't you told to fuck people? Don't tell me that.
No, not USAA.
Oh, give them as much as you possibly
Officer and a
can.
gentleman.
Were you told to give them as much as you possibly can?
No, we were told to be very fair. USAA, when I worked there, we had opened it up a little bit. There was only officers and above that were eligible for insurance, or you had to work at least 8 years.
Oh, I see.
There were officers and gentlemen, and you had to
adjuster. They were okie dokie and people in the spring zone this last big downstream.
What's that?
They were screwing people in the springs and
I have
stuff.
USAA.
Thomas!
It's a damn out-of-state people they send in here. The storm chasers they send in to do estimates that don't know what the hell they're doing.
They were writing checks out of a tent.
Yep.
Tommy, I saw you through the window, Tommy. How you doing, brother?
I just cut a commercial. I thought I'd say hi.
What are you cutting a commercial for? The woodpecker?
Yes, exactly right. So we have to do dinner.
I know. Stephanie wants to, so.
Okay, and then whatever you want to do with the helicopter, I don't see. Well, right now I'm in a contract negotiation, so I'm a little low right now. I just came back from San Antonio. I picked up a string of bass. This is 1870. This is Ventura County. Old bass. Is it late? Oh, the other ones were way fixed. Yeah. All that. Enough for me to play. That's way too.
So what is this commercial for?
Classic piano. Yeah, no for your piano company. He had a bad.
Oh, you're a spokesperson for him?
I was.
Oh, I thought you were doing it for your gig.
No.
Purchase your next home with
So what are you guys fixing today?
no mortgage insurance.
Finishing up a player piano.
Well, that's good.
But don't you have a lot of Christmas concerts?
I haven't been doing too many Christmas concerts. I got out of that.
Do you know pay mortgage insurance?
Nutcracker. I did a lot of Nutcracker. I did 600 Nutcracker.
But aren't you still with them?
No.
Why?
Right now, I'm just doing bass lessons until I decide my contract.
Oh, I thought you were still with the symphony.
That's what we're having contracts to go through. It happens in every industry.
Mark, don't you remember Tom? He used to do a show on KOA years ago, Tom Jensen. He used to do weekends. Mark Major.
You may be too young to remember.
No, I thought it was the same time you were doing weekend stuff. I I could have sworn it was the same time frame.
Could have been.
What nights? Saturday?
I did Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Then I moved to KNUS, KCW.
Yeah.
I was here for a while.
It was fun.
Couldn't keep a job. Well, gentlemen, you got to get back.
I'll call you, Tom.
You call me. Take care.
See you, man.
Thanks, everybody.
His name sounds really familiar. Tom Jensen, he was on, yeah.
Was he in the news department?
No, I did the talk shows, nonsense.
Just don't remember.
So, you know, they had him fill in for a lot of people too. Plus he had his own thing Friday and Saturday.
He's a bass player for the symphony?
No, he was a conductor. Wow. He was the conductor for years and years in Colorado Ballet.
Who cares?
I'd like to see more of it. And he did the Nutcracker. But he personally plays bass.
Candidates fast, and it can be hard to know where to find them. More than 3 million businesses use Indeed.com, the world's #1 job site.
So Mark, he was the ballet. He was the Colorado Ballet conductor.
The right hire.
For like
Indeed is offering new users a $50 credit to give their first job post.
I didn't know Onofrio had a divorce. He was a big advertiser way back.
I love him. Yeah, he had a nasty divorce.
Was it that bad?
Yeah.
Listener said, "Don't spill your cold."
Joe's a nice guy. He really is. We should get him on the list. Except it's hard with retail. He used to be on.
Does he even have stores anymore? Yeah.
Wait, James.
No, Classic Pianos of Denver, formerly in Onofrio.
But Joe's still at the helm?
I don't know why he changed the name.
He lost his name in the divorce.
Come on. Is it classic or classic?
Classic Pianos.
Yeah, that's it. Hi, Tom Martino here. Welcome, 303-713-TALK. I am so happy that Greg called me before moving. What kind of moving expenses can you deduct? Let's talk about that from Eric Reinemer, Atlas CPAs and Advisors, and then Greg, we'll talk about you and your stuff. What can you deduct?
If you're moving, say I believe it's more than 50 miles for a job change, you can deduct everything related to the move.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I really did not know that.
Yeah, it's a page one deduction, but it has to be for a valid. You can't just sort of move yourself from one.
And look for a job, right? It has to be for a job. But can it be for any job? I mean, you just want to get a job somewhere else. Yeah. Any job change.
Yeah.
Okay. 303-713-TALK. We have a couple lines open. Greg is moving. Where are you moving to, Greg?
Where? Florida.
Oh, really? What part?
St. Augustine area.
Oh, that's so beautiful. So overlooked by so many. I started out in South Florida near Miami for school, and then Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood area. Then I went over to Naples, and I was in Naples area. Then I went up to Tampa, St. Pete. I love the area. Now, to move, I'm so happy you called beforehand. Don't go on the internet and get an aggregate mover. You know what an aggregate mover is? That's a guy who sits on the phone and sells your contract. He has no responsibility to you. And probably 90% of everyone listed that you're going to talk to are, what would you call them, Mark? Aggregators, right?
Sleazeballs.
Yeah. And some of the worst movers in the country are located in Florida.
Well,
so,
that's nice.
yeah. Now, to be safe, what you need to do is just hire a company that you know and trust. As far as across the nation, we don't currently have anyone on the referral list at referralist.com, but I know people. Now, there were 2 premier movers in town. One of them just sold, so I'd be suspect of it. They sold to a giant corporation, and I can tell you the family's no longer in charge. But they were a wonderful company, Grable. But I think they sold. No, I know they sold. So I'm not telling you they're bad, but I don't know how much of the culture they kept. You might want to investigate.
And as far as cross-country, if I was moving today, I would make one phone call to Johnson Moving and Storage. One of the largest.
And why them?
Because I've known Mark and his brother for almost 40 years, and they have never, ever, ever had a complaint. How about that? And not only that, they're such a large North American agent that they know all the good North American agents. So it's not like you're going to find somebody here and then be handed off to somebody that they never heard of. So it's important to have a good company. Will you find cheaper people? All day long, and every single one of them will be more expensive in the end. Every single one of them. You get a guaranteed not to exceed contract with Johnson Moving and Storage, and damn it, I got to get them back on the referral list. You won't do better.
Okay. Well, anybody else?
I said Grable was a good company, and they were great. Now, we have local movers that are great, but Mark, what would you say for national moving? You don't know anybody, right?
No, I don't, man.
I'm telling you that if you want to get estimates, try Grable. I mean, you know, I don't know how far they've strayed from their culture, you know, because they haven't sold. It wasn't that long ago they sold. Just investigate them. Those are the two I'd investigate right now. I know them, and that's what I would do. We have more coming up with Atlas CPAs and Advisors, all of your tax questions, plus more on the Troubleshooter Show. I'm consumer advocate Tom Martino for Larson Tax.
My God. For consumers more than 30 years in all areas of
That's the thing to work on.
No, we'll give you some. We have follow-ups, so I want to get them on.
She's got one in there.
We can do more follow-ups anytime.
Oh, wait a minute. No, that lady's not going to sound good.
So, Mark, I want to get Johnson. I want to send him. I'm taking that excerpt, and I'm going to
Send it to me. I already sent Nate something on it.
And I'm going to take literally the excerpt and have him play it.
Yeah, no, I dig.
I trust Ron and Jack Larson and their chief experts, and you can too. 844-LARSON-TAX, or check them out at LarsonTaxRelief.com. That's 844-LARSON-TAX.
It's Mark. Okay. Yeah, we're on the air right now, man. You can. I'll have them call you back. What's your phone number? And I'm sorry. What's your name? Wholesale home. Okay, you guys. All right, I'll have them call you, man. Bye. Charles with Wholesale Home Improvements.
Yeah.
He just wants you to call.
Okay. That was about the window and stuff.
Yeah,
people were
the big long window.
Right, but they were supposed to send a video on it and stuff. So okay, yeah, I know.
Never got it.
No, he never sent it to the guy. I called and talked to him. They're the ones who weren't going to pay him. That canceled the check. Excellent.
I'm dying to get this. I want this argument.
Oh. It's going to go down to the artistic. I think you set up. I think we set them up.
Yeah, but it's a question that still needed to be answered. Are they a protective? That's basically it. Are they going to be a protective classroom? Really, that's the only answer. You couldn't do that if those were black people, right?
I'm probably not.
You couldn't say, hey, I don't believe in black people getting married, so I'm not going to bake you a cake. You can't do that.
Or would that be in any religion, though?
What do you mean?
He's doing it because he said it's against his religious belief. That's what he's going.
I don't know if it matters if it's a protective class, is what I'm saying. I don't think it matters what the reason
Hi,
is.
Jennifer? That's where it's from. It's the what trumps the religious aspect.
That's true.
That's the whole issue.
Yeah, I'll give you a call back in just a little bit.
Well,
Thank you so
and
much.
is it, what is the
But
reason?
if they created a protective class for gays, then the issue would be different.
But, well, because it's not the gay person he's opposed to, Mark. It's the union in marriage. And that is not. So it's different. It's like a protected class, black, or any, well, race is a protected class, not black, race.
Correct.
So,
and if gay was a protective
but
class.
well, let's examine that.
Okay.
If a black person went in and wanted a cake that said, fuck
that was
the man.
marrying a white person.
Let's say he's a gangbanger, wants to write, fuck the man. And I said, no, we're not going to write that. We're not going to do it. And he sued. It's not because he's black. It's because of the
No,
cake.
how about if it was a black guy marrying a white woman, and they didn't believe in interracial marriages because of religion?
What religion would that be?
Well, not too long ago, some Christian religions.
Well, no, I never knew of that. But anyway.
You really?
I think
You've never heard of anybody saying that?
Christians, in my view, and for what I know of them, were the first interracial couples there were in the world that I knew, because I knew them back in the 60s. And everyone's going, woo. But I don't know. Okay, but let's go with that. No matter what the religion, XYZ religion.
Sure.
And they believe that God wanted everyone to be pure. Good point. So what would happen? What would happen? Are you allowed to have a fucked up belief?
Well, if they would really have to, I think they would delve in your religion. Is this guy saying that, or is this?
No, but what if he really did? What if he really, really, really believed that?
You know there's some nuts out there that...
I know. Who's right? That's a good point. Who would... What would happen?
There's no...
You know, an Islam baker would not bake that cake.
That's what they targeted.
But they didn't target an Islam... Well, I don't know if there are any Islam bakers, but... No, I don't know. For an Islam baker who follows...
The funny part is most people in business, see dollars.
I'm that Muslim baker.
All they see is dollars. They're not going to turn away business, generally speaking.
I don't know anyone that would turn away, because you could argue, you could say to yourself, I'm not participating, I'm just making them a frickin' cake. I mean, you know, oh no, you're right, he would bake the cake. It wasn't the cake, it was the decoration. See, that's the point. He wasn't saying to them, I won't bake your cake.
Actually, one of his quotes was exactly that.
Well, you know what? That's what it said, and that surprised me because I've heard him. And he says he has no problem selling cakes to anyone or making cakes for anyone.
Yeah. But what trumps what? That's the part that I still...
Happy holidays from Denver's talk station, 630 KHOW.
Now is the best time to make your home wow. Want to know how? Champion Windows Winter Wow Sale. Get 30% off new Champion Windows, 25% off new siding
and sunrooms, plus 60 months low-interest financing. That's a wow. Book your free no-obligation appointment today online at getchampion.com.
How do they vote
Make Champion Windows is installed using expert craftsmen and features their Comfort 365.
I'm sure it was 5 to 4 on the ban of Muslims. I don't know why it would be. Everything's 5 to 4.
Do you tell people because it was savings?
Yeah, Obamacare didn't went through.
But that one...
The Winter Wow Sale gets you 30% off.
You know what it is? People get closer to death and they start changing. And I mean for real, they start changing. Almost like they're trying to buy their way into heaven or something towards the end.
How do
of
they
their life.
change?
Generally, they get more religious and kinder. Wouldn't you say that's mostly true?
Some get downright...
You know what? He's right, though. Some people get grouchy.
And I'm feeling down, and I do appreciate
Hi, Tom Martino here. Welcome. This is the Troubleshooter Show, where we are solving problems, answering questions, taking complaints, and making your life just a little easier. So let's talk this hour, brought to you by Simply Floors. Yes, Simply Floors is the place where you get full service floor coverings, installation, design services. But what do you not get? The huge markups, because Simply Floors does it for less. I can't put it any more simply than that.
And he's got free, you ready for this?
Design service.
Design service.
Yes, I know. And that's not just, Mark, that's just someone saying, oh, yeah, this will go with this. We're talking about if you're doing a floor, they're going to coordinate everything if you want, or they'll coordinate a few floor textures, and then also the fabrics and the rest of the room, and it's part of the service. What you do is drop by 52nd and Ward if you want to look at their stuff, or book an in-home appointment. Evenings are available by going to their website, simplyfloorsinc.com. What you'll do is you will see all of the great selections of hardwood, laminates, luxury, vinyl, tile, and carpeting, all at lower prices than even the big boys. simplyfloorsinc.com. Troy, you have a 20-year-old son, 22-year-old son with an injury. Is that right, Troy?
Yes, I do. It'll be like 3 years ago this spring. He caught an edge skiing. He's an outstanding skier, but he was out skiing by himself, launched like 20 feet off the side of the mountain, and basically did Spider-Man backwards up against the tree, perpendicular to the tree, and dropped to the ground, basically tomahawked down. I mean, it was a total yard sale.
Wow.
But
where has he gone for help with his injuries?
Well, for a long time, because he just has so much distrust in doctors because of some past history stuff.
What is that? What kind of history?
Well, when he was 10 years old. We lived in. We're originally from Minnesota.
Okay.
He had sprained his ankle, went into like the doctors 5 times, x-rayed his ankles 5 times. They kept telling him essentially he was nuts and to suck it up, take some Advil, and go home.
And what did it turn out to be? A broken?
He had osteomyelitis in the outboard side of his right ankle. I think it was his right ankle. And we finally got PO'd, went to Children's Hospital in St. Paul there, where they had a digital x-ray. They blew it up. He had microfractures. Within 45 minutes, he was up on the table. They popped a hole in it. It had pus.
Boom.
And he spent 5 days in the hospital.
Okay, so listen, right now, has he been to any doctor?
Yes, he's had yesterday. I mean, this is just, it's killing me. I don't know what to do.
Oh man, it must be really hard on him, right? I mean, you're like what?
He's had to drop out of school because of it.
Oh my goodness! Now listen, he's prime, and I'm hoping he doesn't get into the painkillers. Tell me he's not.
No, he's not. He doesn't want anything to do with him because of everything you hear on the news.
Oh, thank God, because it can ruin the kid's life, because they will give him some relief right now.
Yeah, I mean, he is 22, and he's extremely cognitive of, everything that's going on.
Have you guys thought, first of all, you need an orthopedic doc, you know that, right?
Well, we did. He went in on November 15th. We went through a pain clinic, and he got injections. It's from T7 to T12.
Were they cortisone?
I believe so.
They are good for immediate acute relief, but did they they didn't give him any relief?
No, he's basically got nothing from it, which when you research it, on the internet that Al Gore invented, you can, opinions are like,
they are.
Everybody's got them.
All right, and now, Troy, there's a lot of rip-off in this area too, but has he explored stem cells? And I hesitate to even say it because of all the charlatans and rip-offs in the business.
Well, I listen to your show a lot.
Yeah. Did he try? Did he talk to Dr. Centeno? They won't do it if they don't think it'll help him. They won't do it. But they have other things available because they have real orthopedic doctors there.
I wrote his name down at one point, and I haven't called him yet.
Now remember, I would not. Now the reason I say Centeno Schultz, as opposed to just anyone. First of all, they have an orthopedic doc or two, and they also have pain management, but they also have other things other than stem cell. I'm not saying stem cell will work. I have no idea.
Oh, no.
But it may, and they also have PRP and other other modalities. They have conventional medicine because they're MDs. I'm just saying that that's a good start because they are so well-rounded. The other thing would be, I know this sounds crazy, maybe if you don't, but acupuncture and massage therapy, those things have been very good with certain back conditions. You know, did he break anything? Can they see anything? Does he have a diagnosis on an X-ray?
Well, I mean, it'll be 3 years ago this spring. They think he had broken some ribs at the time.
You know, there's a great book out there, Healing Back Pain, the Mind and Body Connection.
Mind Over Back Pain by Dr. What is it?
That's him. He's got 2 or 3 of them.
What's his name? Sarno. Yeah. You know, Troy.
I mean, he has done, I mean, meditation. He's the back roller.
No, I know. I know.
He lost 70 pounds. I mean, the kid has done unbelievable things because he doesn't want to take medications. He hates them.
If he could try a couple things, that it really, seriously, has he tried acupuncture?
He doesn't like the needles.
Okay. There is a
the question. One of the things I wanted to ask you was, I mean, he has this stuck in his brain, you know, that they must have struck a nerve or something. But we had his second MRI on his back yesterday when I spent all day in the ED with him.
Yeah.
And there's no abscess or anything. And he's like, I want to talk to a lawyer. And I'm like,
well,
they're not going to, I mean, it's so hard.
No.
But he needs a lawyer to tell him that, you know, there's no abscess, you know, there's nothing showing in the MRI, there's no infection in it.
No. And being in pain and then being in more pain, you know, there's no malpractice that I can think of that unless they truly did puncture a space, his I think it's his epidural space. But here's the thing.
Yeah, that's what they did, was they did the epidural to put in cortisone, which, of course, you know that.
Yeah. So listen, Troy, I want you to do a consultation with Dr. Centeno just to start. He hasn't tried that yet. Now, I'm not saying to do it. See what they have to say about it. They're good people. They really are. You know what? If I don't hesitate sending you there because they're not going to say, all right, we'll definitely fix this with stem cell and slam you. They're not like that. They'll say, you know what? This is too generalized. We can't do stem cell, but we may want to try this. They'll give you good suggestions. But even above and beyond that, you know, and I know, again, a lot of people don't think this, but I'm talking about traditional chiropractic is really good in some instances. I'm not talking about the guys now that use all the machines and the lights and the vibrators, and they want to do all kinds of vitamins and therapies, and chiropractors have gotten away from chiropractic, but there are still some very good traditional chiropractors who do chiropractic. Also, these are the 3 things I would do. I would go to Centeno Schultz, I would go for chiropractic, and I would go for acupuncture. That is what I would do. And
he had a great chiropractor. He was working in Longmont for a while there. Yeah. This guy was phenomenal.
Right, and they are good when you get a good chiropractor. They're like gold.
It was just, but like within 4 hours, 5 hours the next day, you know, it was right back to where it was.
Well, I know, because it takes time. But Troy, I don't want to sound like a broken record. If you need a suggestion for chiropractic or acupuncture, I'll call you off the air. Centeno Schultz for stem cell is 303-963-9201. They have MDs. They use guided injections, but they may not even recommend it. It's 303-963-9201. Troy, my heart goes out to you. Now, we're going to get a lot of people calling, and we'll take those calls because I'm sure people will have suggestions. People are very loving in situations like this. Clint, you went through misery with backs. You're still going through misery. What do you think?
Well, I only have a problem at one level. I've had 6 levels that I've had problems with. First of all, those injections, if they're making him hurt worse, that happens a lot for the first week, and that's usually a good sign that they got the medicine in the right spot. Yeah.
But cortisone weakens you over time, though. You know that.
They don't. I mean, they'll last. I was lucky. Mine would last 4 months. But over a period of time, they'll last less and less.
Right. So you did surgery.
I did fusions, and
But that may not work.
Well, not always, but
See,
all of them
backs
that
are
when I'm
very
refused, the pain's gone. I have no joint there.
Okay, once they did the fusion.
Once I did the
But you
fusion.
still have to take pain meds for other stuff.
The first level I had was my spinal cord was injured pretty badly right there.
And it still is.
It still is. It doesn't heal.
And there's not. Have you tried chiropractic?
Oh yeah, I went all.
Have you tried acupuncture?
Yes, I went through all of them.
For you?
No, it was just I've got a physical thing
But
wrong there.
you are going to look at stem cell though.
Oh, definitely. That's the future, and that will be what will heal him.
All right. Well, let's talk about Pro Auto Care, your car nanny. You want someone who will take care of you. Whatever level you choose, they will do. I like the nanny level. That's where I get emails and text reminders. They let me know what's due, when it's due. I don't have to think about it. I love that kind of stuff. And so they can do all of your normal services, and they keep your warranty intact. They keep records if you want to sell your car, if you have to prove you have service. They keep all of your records and all of the invoices. They have some incredible deals. If you go to 303proauto.com and you look for my picture or likeness and click on it, they have some Martino specials for my listeners. They have 2 locations near Evans and I-25 and near Bowles and Santa Fe. If you go to 303proauto.com, you can get exact directions. One thing I'll tell you, in addition to skill, they have integrity, and that is important. You can trust them for any maintenance or for major repairs. And in between every visit, you get free roadside assistance. 303-PRO-AUTO.
From the L&L Heating and Air Conditioning Traffic
The north
Center.
end of town cannot catch a break. Now we got a crash northbound I-25 at 144.
Right under the overpass there. Looks like the right 2 lanes are blocked. Only the left lane getting by. Big delays on that stretch. Pack your patience for sure. The rest of the drive in the metro area is doing fairly decent. Watch out for road work, though. Effective drive on eastbound I-76 between.
Did you see the Federal Bulldog? That's the last. Did
you see him? Was he here?
Yesterday.
Oh, I didn't see him.
Cute, like, like this big. You don't have to be, what do they call it? French
They are set 45 with traffic and weather MP flat. 630 K-How.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
they used the word for together.
taking care of business all year.
But he got rid of it though, right?
No, he had 2. He had one for a while. Got this one as a pet for them. He wanted them, but it was a pain in the ass, so he got rid of the pain in the ass.
Did he advertise it as such?
My beagle was free. Oh, I bought it. My last over. Drove all the way to Rocky.
Did you do his ears and stuff? Well, they weren't done ahead of time. Just like little
The tail was done. They take tail close, they grind it up to it. I had the ears cried. They mix bone marrow and a Rocky Ford as well. They put up here bloody hurricanes and put it in there.
Some people think that's
who can help you save time and money and
Pilgrimage was so different with that.
Oh, yeah.
Usually working my way up.
Leasing will get you what you
Yeah,
have
they're all
for
big people that people would come up to and say, you know what that does?
the choice of leasing or Reliance.
The best we go to now, though, I was just the other day, was
Just type Reliance.
Great Game come out.
They just passed a law in Denver, you can go from the top.
Yeah, well, they go to,
They say it's harassing.
You've got that.
Well, I'm sure it is, but I think what's the difference between that and anything else?
Right, but the law is Denver.
I think, because the cat ever gets out there, oh my God, they can't climb the tree. The biggest thing would be that. If something goes after my outdoor cat, I guarantee it.
Lumbar, thoracic, lumbar,
Can't climb the tree with the gloves.
But here, they go after furniture, you know, some cats do that. That's where they say.
Look at the last lumbar.
That's what
The S's are at the bottom, C's
I
are
heard
at
it's
the middle.
very painful.
The last thing you want to do is have the bottom.
They probably gotta go back to line it.
Then you have teeth. If you wear out the one above it, that's why you have to.
What's top row?
Cervical.
Cervical, then T, thoracic,
CT,
lumbar, and then sacral.
Afternoons 4 to 7. A new article in the Journal of
I just had
Geography says eating meat reinforces hegemonic masculinity.
daughter-in-law's
But wait, I didn't know geography was feminist.
that's been crying for years. He's just crippled up and finally went and had back surgery. I saw him at Thanksgiving. A new man. You know?
I know so many people who put off knee surgery and stuff. They're crazy. And then when they finally get it done, they're so...
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Go ahead, Gary. What's going on?
Well, I own 3 little clinics where I use credit card processing.
Biggest rip-off in business is credit card processing. It's getting better, though, because of the Internet.
Okay. Yeah, I should probably just use Clover or the Square or something like that.
Mark knows a lot about it. He does the shopping for us on that and analyzes them. Mark, how do you choose a merchant service?
Depends how much you're doing a month. How much are you doing, man?
I do about $250,000 a year in my 3 clinics.
I'd probably go with Payment Tech, Chase Payment Tech.
Yeah, I should have done something different.
Why? Are you in a contract you can't get out of?
I'm in 2 contracts I can't get out of.
How?
A year and a half ago, I signed up with Securus, and I've been using them for the last year and a half in my 3 clinics. And about 3 months ago, a fellow came in with Smart Card Services. He told me he could beat the current rates I had, and he told me if I signed the contract with him, he would beat the current rates, he would cover my early termination fee with Securus, who I was with, and then he would...
you called before. Didn't you call a few weeks ago?
I talked to you about 10 days ago. You made a quick call to the folks in Phoenix, but you never heard back from them.
Are we going to try to get him out of the contract?
Yeah, I remember this. Suzanne called up, and at first they were going to talk to her. Then they said, no, email us the information. Did we ever hear back from those clowns?
No, and that's why Gary's back on.
Do they really... You want out of the contract is what you want. Is it an unconscionable contract, Mark? Do you know?
I don't know if it's unconscionable, but, I mean, they're putting the screws to them. They promised them a lot of stuff. I thought maybe they'd come through, but I don't know. Maybe we need to give their number out.
They have contacted me since then. You know, frankly, I've suffered 2 losses here. I've suffered a $2,997 loss for early termination fee, and now I'm in 2 sets of contracts with First Data Corporation.
But wait a minute, if you're in the contracts, why is there an early termination?
Well, there's 2 points to it.
The second, hold on one second. The second company agreed to buy out the first one, and basically they never did.
That's correct. That's the $3,000.
Okay.
And then the contract, the additional contract I signed for terminals, for lease of the terminals, is $140 a month for 4 years.
God.
They told me that lease...
Did you do that with an LLC, or did you sign for it personally?
I'm sure I signed for it personally. I'm part of an LLC, but I'm pretty sure I signed for it personally. So I've suffered 2 losses. I've suffered a $4,068 loss for the second set of terminals they're leasing me, and I've suffered a $3,000 loss for the early termination.
So, do you have in writing that they were going to buy out?
No.
Oh, my gosh. What kind of clinics are they?
I own lasers, and I do toenail fungus treatments for people who have comatosis.
I feel badly for you, but, man, it looks like you screwed. It does, unless we can look at... Do you have the... Did we look at the contracts, Mark? Did we actually see them yet?
I don't think we did.
Could you at least...
I sent them to you, but there's nothing in the contract that supports what I say.
Nothing. Well, then, God, what...
Screwed.
Well... If you did it in an LLC or something, you could bankrupt out of them or dissolve right the hell out of them. If you have to fight fire with fire, you do it. But, you know, you can if you did it, if you sign for them personally, or if your LLC has too many values. I don't know what to do. When a guy signs a contract, he signs 2 of them, and they're both bad, and nothing he is saying is in writing, I throw my hands up. What do you do? You don't do anything, is the answer. What do you do? You want to put, you know, you could call their bluff, Gary, and just not pay and make them come after you. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And then they're maybe better to settle once they come after you. We have found that in some cases. Now, again, that's up to your tolerance. I'm not sure if I would do that. Today is Colorado Gives Day. That's where people are giving to their best nonprofit. They try to pick a day, like a Black Friday for shopping, a Cyber Monday for shopping. They have a Colorado Gives Day. I have a charity near and dear to my heart that I like to talk about, Hope Haven. It's a school in Rwanda, and it has a very simple mission: to change lives. They take little kids and they school them, and as a result,
they have made successful adults. And it's one child at a time. So many people try to do big, giant things. This school says, let's just save one child at a time, and they help the families, the village, the area, the world. And Susan Holleran started this years ago. She's a Colorado resident with her own money. And she still does a lot of it with her own money. And she has a 501(c), and they need to raise money. We have events throughout the year. And today is a great time to give to something like this. You can read about them. I'll give you the website. But I want to talk to Jason, the CEO. Jason? Are you there, sir?
Hey, Tom. Yes, I am. Hey, Tom, it's great to be on the show today. Thanks for taking the time.
Well, thank you guys for what you do. I want to give the website out so people can investigate you as they give. So what's the website?
Yeah. HopeHavenRwanda.org. HopeHavenRwanda.org.
Okay, so Hope Haven is easy. Rwanda is R and then Wanda. That's it.
That's right.
R and then the name
That's right.
Wanda, W-A-N-D-A. So it's Hope Haven Rwanda and .org, and you can find out all about this school. And what's special today? What do you want to talk about with Colorado Gives?
Well, you know, it's interesting. This is a time when the entire state is focused on giving. It's a great season. One of the neat things about this week in particular is that Christian McCaffrey, Denver native, as you know.
Yes, and
football for Valor.
Ed McCaffrey's son, right? He played for Valor. He's Ed's son.
Absolutely. And this weekend he played in New Orleans against the Saints. Unfortunately, they lost, but we're used to that around here, right?
Yeah.
So what happened was he actually wore some cleats that were painted with the Hope Haven Rwanda logo. It was a part of an NFL campaign. Anyway, a generous fan said, hey, you know what, this week, if somebody wants to donate to Hope Haven Rwanda, I'm going to triple their contribution. So we encourage people to check that out. He actually giving us the cleats, and it's pretty exciting. It was nice to see them on the big screen, and he scored a touchdown in them. So,
yeah, that's cool. So he donated those cleats, and what are you guys doing with the cleats?
Well, we're going to auction them before long, and people can keep an eye out for that. It's going to be exciting.
Good.
I hope they have some, some mud and some dirt from New Orleans on them.
And you have a donor who will triple what? Today's donations?
For the next week, actually.
Oh, my goodness.
So the rest of this week, and that's incredible. So, and of course, in the month of December, the whole month, all the contributions are doubled. But, you know, it's an amazing mission. If you think about the opportunity to go into this incredibly impoverished village and to give a chance to some of these kids to get an education. Some of their parents can't even speak English, unfortunately, but we have a chance to come in and to give them a quality education. It's a school that I would send my own children to.
Oh, what I love about what Susan did, this is not a charity where you see on TV a bunch of hopeless children and pennies on the dollar go to the cause, and they have these big giant offices. She runs this thing out of her home, and then you have a beautiful school in Rwanda, and all of the money goes for the kids. It's a great organization.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Tom. And it's funny you mention that because I'm actually at our home right now. And you're right. We don't have offices. We don't have overhead. We really, I mean, obviously we have to have some overhead, but the money goes to the field. And every gift given as a part of this Christian McCaffrey thing, all of it's going to Rwanda. And that's where we want to make the most impact.
I want to mention HopeHavenRwanda.org. I also went to HopeHavenRwanda.com. That works too. I don't know if you realize that.
It does.
Yeah.
Yep, it does. Absolutely.
So HopeHavenRwanda.com. And where do they give today for Colorado Gives? Explain how they find you.
Well, you can look us up via Colorado Gives, and probably the easiest way is to look up under Rwanda.
Right.
Because that's the most unique name. There are a lot of organizations with Hope or Haven in the name.
Right.
But look up Rwanda. You get a chance to see more about the organization, and you can donate through Colorado Gives. And, of course, some of that is being matched as well. So we're excited about all the different ways that people can get involved. ColoradoGives.org is where you can go to help out a number of charities and organizations, and if you search Rwanda, you will find Hope Haven Rwanda. You can also go directly, of course, to HopeHavenRwanda.com.
The significant thing about the donations now is that they will be tripled by an anonymous donor. This is incredible. So, Jason, thank you for the work you do. When is your next big event?
April 18th, we're going to have the Fabric of Hope Gala, and it's going to be incredible. We've got some amazing speakers coming. In fact, we have invited, I hate to say this too early, but we have invited some people that would be associated with the NFL, and it would be a fantastic opportunity for you to get a chance to meet them and to hear their stories.
Yeah, save that date, April 18th. Right now, I'm just going to tell you, Colorado Gives, okay, .org, coloradogives.org. Look for Hope Haven Rwanda, please. All of the donations will be tripled. That is so good. Well, I love charities that really, really, really put their money where their mouth is and really give most everything to the cause, and they don't shower themselves with giant mansions and salaries and offices and artwork. HopeHavenRwanda.org. Another great organization I want to talk about is the Raleigh House. Now, the Raleigh House is an addiction treatment center. They have multiple locations in the Denver area. You can call them for treatment at any time, but that's not the reason for this. The reason for this spot is to tell you about a special line we have established for anyone who has an addict in their life and they need information. Anything you want to ask about environmental circumstances, psychological things, blood work, and health things that trigger addiction, and financial problems, legal problems, you can call and say, look, I know someone who is suspicious and they're taking painkillers, or I see needle marks, or whatever you want to ask about. There's no obligation. They're open to any and all questions. They would love to tell you about their evidence-based treatment designed to reduce substance abuse, but the purpose of the call is not sales. If you want to explore the Raleigh House, they would be happy to help you. But if you have any questions at all about treatment in general, treatment options, cost, insurance, about how to approach the addict in your life, what do you say? Who do you say it to? Do more than 2 people go? Does one person do it? Do you do it on the phone? Do you do it in person? Any questions? The answers are different according to your circumstances. So give them a call. Don't ever wait, because addiction never goes away on its own. 720-893-5559. 720-893-5559.
From the Fox Business Network, on Wall Street, the major averages are mixed, with tech stocks and healthcare companies among the gainers today, and a major deal in...
Did Buddy actually ask for it, or is this a slam dunk thing?
No, I placed all his address. I asked you before. I said, does he have 2? You said no.
No, you said, did I do 2? I said, yes.
Oh, for yesterday, that's right. I got approved for that clinic of Centenos, that annual conference in February, to go in there.
It's an annual conference?
Yeah, an annual conference.
What do they do?
It's 3 days of going over all the latest things in stem cell therapy.
3 days?
Yeah, 14th and 17th.
Who is it for? It's not for patients, is it?
No, it's for mostly for doctors. My pain management doctor was going. That's why he told me about it. I called this Jennifer Hole.
Is Centeno Schultz putting it on?
Yes, Centeno Schultz puts it on. The only problem is I haven't talked to Dr. Centeno yet. Jennifer Hole still wants to charge me $1,100. And they're talking about they want press to come to it to know about it. I think it's something I think it's such a future of everything that's going on. I really think it's important to know about it. What did you go through to find out the wrong? I mean, did you know?
You're right. I went through a lot of research. And
yeah. It's going to change medicine more than anything else.
So what do you like? Unless they come out with a big...
Talk to him, see if he'll waive that $100. My wife just exactly jumping in the
Well, right now, he says it might happen. So if they
actually, a lady named Jennifer Hole.
Did they return that yearbook over?
She's in charge of the center.
And maybe they're waiting on that. And maybe we can do it the last day.
Do me a
That's
favor.
what they do. They wait the very last day.
When you call her, tell her that you forgot to mention you're with me, and you just want to go as my representative because I can't make it.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah, I'll work on them. I got till February to sweet talk them into.
You don't have to sweet talk them. Just tell them if it's truly put on by them.
Yeah. That thing here,
they're not going to charge the media.
They said, yeah, they said there's a majority of this would be relevant that I'd understand it if they want to. Nancy Holt.
Hey guys,
Yes.
Approval Reverse Mortgage is a reverse mortgage company, and it's the only one I recommend that you call if you're considering a reverse mortgage, because I'll tell you why. She is the only one that I trust, Joan Sullivan, to tell you the truth about them, because most people just get slammed into them. They may or may not be for you. They are great retirement tools for some people, not for others. ApprovalReverse.com, 303-771-3528. It's basically a mortgage and a lump sum monthly payments or a line of credit that you can use for anything you want, tax-free. 303-771-3528. Speaking of anything you want, some people do home improvements. But you know, the important thing about home improvements is not what you do, but who does it. We get more calls about home improvement ripoffs than any other category. That's why I can recommend the people on my referral list like Art of Granite. Oh man, Mitch Floria would probably rather cut off his hands than steal from anyone. This guy is so dedicated to doing a great job at great value, honest, above board. He will give you a price over the phone. He's not ashamed. If you take a picture or some measurements, he'll price it over the phone. Now, that's not an exact contracted price. It's an idea. It usually doesn't differ by a few $100 when you go there, because eventually you have to go to his showroom in Golden to pick out the exact stuff. He's open 7 days a week, serving the mountain communities and, of course, the entire Front Range. He sells his granite and his counter material at wholesale prices. You can buy from him or anywhere else on his wholesale account. He charges only for fabrication and installation. Whatever you do in the kitchen, he'll do in the bathroom free. He tears out and hauls away everything free. 303-386-5919. 303-386-5919. artofgranite.net.
Broncos fans, the holiday season is here, and we have the perfect gift for the young Broncos fan. Sign them up for the Broncos Bunch Kids Club to receive exclusive access to Broncos events year-round and an official Broncos Bunch gift pack featuring Broncos magazine for kids, an official club shirt, NFL trading cards, a free ticket to the downtown aquarium, and more. Visit BroncosBunch.com to sign up today.
What's trending? Let's talk about it. This is Denver's Talk Station, 630 KHOW.
Scary for the interns.
Hi, Tom Martino here. Eric Reinemer, we have a question here then. Deadlines. What are the various deadlines for filing your taxes, sir?
April 15th for 1040s, March 15th for business returns.
So March, you have to do it a month sooner for business.
Correct.
Okay. Then, what about late returns? Don't you have extensions?
6 months to October 15th.
That's the only extension, October 15th.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get one beyond that.
No, there used to be two, now there's just one.
Okay, and what about paying? It's not an extension to pay, is it?
That's right, you've got to pay it all during the year, ideally.
Now, if you don't, what happens?
You get dinged for interest and penalties.
Okay, so here's the deal. You have to pay even if you don't, you got to file, right? And you have to pay. But ideally, at least file. If you can't pay, you got to file, because that'll be even worse. But as far as paying, it's better to put it on a credit card than to let the IRS do it, right?
And
it's expensive.
There's ways you can actually pay the IRS directly now with credit cards, too. They're opening up those channels to get your money.
Okay, so Mark was talking about pass-through income and changes. What were you talking about, Mark? Somebody asked about it.
Well, they were talking about, right now, I guess there's...
What is pass-through income? Explain it.
Well, like an LLC.
Pass-through income is anybody that owns an S-Corp or an LLC or even a sole proprietorship.
So most of my listeners that have businesses have an S-Corp or an LLC.
That's right. There is no tax at the company level. It just passes to your personal tax return.
And what were you talking about, Mark? With the
they're talking about, I don't know if it was on the Senate side or what side, but changing something from 18% to 23%.
Well, here's the weird thing. There's a bunch of strange things. Nobody knows where it's going to land. They're talking about having a lot of business income only be taxed at a maximum of of 25%. But if it's a service business and there's labor, it actually could be at a higher rate, and they'll give you some kind of a discount. But it's so mumbo-jumbo right now, nobody knows where it's going to land.
It's basically saying right now the taxpayer can generally deduct 17.4% of domestic qualified business income from a partnership, an S-corp, or a sole proprietorship, and they're saying they're going to bring that up to 25%. So would that mean that basically you can write off 8% more right out of the gate?
It's more complicated than that. They're saying if you've got a pass-through entity, you have to divide your income between labor, which you now pay payroll tax on, and capital. If you have, and if you don't, you can default. This is crazy. 70% labor, 30% capital. The labor is subject to the ordinary tax rate up to 35%. So it's a discount off the 35%, not off the 25%. It's mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, it sounds very complicated. Ruth, go ahead, Ruth.
Yes, I received a Rocky Flats settlement check recently, and I'm wondering whether that will be considered taxable.
And what is that payment for?
Well, the settlement refers to it being a decrease in the value of your property at the time that the plutonium was released.
And the money that you received, how much?
It's a few $1,000s. It's not a lot.
Now, I would guess it's a casualty loss, which would not be taxed, but Eric, I don't know. What would you say? It's a loss of value. Turn on your mic.
Loss of value, yes.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, it depends on the character of it.
Loss of value.
Yeah, but it's not replacing income. I don't know if it would be
It's not
taxable.
income.
Yeah.
Because it's replacing value. Here's the way I look at it. They feel that when you sell, you're going to get less. And as a result, you're taking that as an adjustment to it. So I can't see how it's considered income, because if you sold, it's not going to be income. It would just be less money you made.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're making up for it ahead of time. Now, you know, I don't know, I guess I'm going to say ask your accountant. So we're asking you, what would you do? Look it up if she came to your office and said, I need to know this Rocky Flats settlement?
It does reference an Internal Revenue Code 468B. But it doesn't tell you what that is, and I can't seem to find that online.
Yeah, have you just Googled that?
Yeah, I did. And it just said you should consult your tax advisor to determine the tax consequences, if any, of these award payments.
It says it's deemed for qualified payments are made by a taxpayer to a designated settlement fund, are paid by taxpayer to a settlement fund. Shall be deemed to occur for purposes economic performance. Okay, but it doesn't talk about receiving them. You know, most settlements are not. All I can tell you is that most settlements are not. It says either litigating party petitions the court to order that it be a 468B fund settlement. So is it a 468B settlement? Is it?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. Did they say it was?
It says, please note that the Internal Revenue Service has issued regulations under Internal Revenue Code 468B that may affect your tax treatment of these awards. In something that I found on a Rocky's litigation thing on a Law Week, Colorado, here it says the contamination drove down property values for the homeowners. Court documents describe the class of plaintiffs as being numerous, blah, 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 blah. But it ordered payments totaling $7,800,000 to 4 class representatives. But that was
okay. So
who brought the
here's the deal.
Suit.
Here's the deal. The fund is set up under the guidelines of the IRS. I'm reading through it as we're live on the air.
Okay.
And I don't see anything about taxes yet. It just talks about how the money is collected and distributed. And it's more or less, they're saying that more for the other side. This is not really about people who get it. It's more about people who set up the fund. I don't see anything about people who get the payment. So, we can research it for you. Eric, you can research
Ruth could just call me also, and we can just check it out at our office. Just give me a call.
Do you have, so it's called 468B. Okay, so we'll figure it out. One way or another, let's give out, their number is 303-799-9999. 9111. We'll try to get you an answer.
You know, generally
before the end of the show.
Generally, most settlements, unless they're personal physical injury or sickness, generally are taxable.
They're not. They're not.
Generally are.
Casualty loss is not. So what kind of settlement are you saying is? Personal injury is not, Mark. So which one?
Well, that's what I mean. Personal injury wouldn't be if you're actually sick or you were physically injured.
And other settlements.
But what she's talking about, I bet it would be.
Like roof settlements and like house problems, cars, those are not taxable. Casualty losses are not taxable because you're deemed to have lost that amount.
That same amount as you're recouping.
Right. So we'll figure it out.
How about income?
What do you mean income?
Well, if you're
loss of income.
Yeah, loss of income.
Okay, that is specifically taxed.
Yeah. Well, it would have to be because you're replacing income that would have been taxed.
But you actually, Mark, they actually do in a settlement. They separate those from the casualty loss. They'll say how much of that was loss of income, and then that will be taxed. So it's the character.
How about punitive? That would be taxed, right?
Now that I don't know, because that's not necessarily a loss. So punitive damages to me seems like it would be income.
A windfall.
Have you ever had to calculate punitive?
I haven't had to do it before. I haven't come across that. But in Ruth's case, if you think about it, if she sold the house, it probably wouldn't be taxable anyway. So why get taxed on something you never would have been taxed?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we'll try to get an answer though definitively. If not today, we'll revisit it tomorrow. Simply Floors Inc. We talked about it before, and we want to tell you again and remind you that you have two ways to shop with Simply Floors Inc. You can go directly to Simply Floors at 52nd and Ward and see their astounding collection. Owner Buddy Mitchell loves doing what he does. That's why you can save 40 to 50% when looking for floor coverings, convenient individual attention, product experts and now design experts at your disposal, supreme customer service, and the best prices, period. Simply Floors Inc. You can also go there online, simplyfloorsinc.com, and set up an in-house meeting. You set it up yourself on their calendar, and they'll show up in the evening or in late afternoon, whatever you want, and they'll take samples with them, and you can do everything from there if you'd like, or you can do a combination of the two. The important thing is you'll get value, low prices without dealing with the big boxes where you're just a number, and they have free design services. That's simplyfloorsinc.com.
This report is brought to you by Office Depot Office Max. For the most part, the freeway drive in the metro area in great shape, with the exception of the north end of town. Northbound I-25 is shut down.
144 due to a serious crash there under the overpass. It looks like traffic is being taken off the highway on right after the incident, but backups all the way past 120 and taxi patients on that stretch. The rest of the drive in the highways, the metro area, looks like they're all pretty much up to speed. Weather forecast.
I'm seeing 4, 6, 8 feet on the stack.
You know,
if you drop, if you're, I understand on the roof because it's replacing something you already have paid taxes on. But because you have an exemption on your house that you wouldn't pay taxes on the sale under most circumstances, I don't know if that necessarily means you wouldn't pay taxes on a settlement like that. It seems to me that you would pay taxes on that.
That's what I said, Mark. We had a...
They're giving you money because
diminished value.
Just get ready for the holidays.
I don't know if it is. I mean, is it truly diminished value?
They're just making you whole again. Is I think why it's not taxable, because you're only being made whole.
Aren't you worse off than you were before? So they're getting you back to where you were.
Yeah, you're just being made whole.
Right. They dug a hole in your backyard. Now they're giving you the dirt to put back into the hole, so it's okay.
So it's a wash.
It's a wash.
Yeah, we had a plumber do $40,000 damage to the house, floor, the basement, and everything else. We took that loss in that year because we didn't think we were going to have any chance at all. So the guy, 2 years later, we got a settlement of $40,000, so then we had to pay taxes on that.
But you took a loss.
Because we took a loss. Yeah.
Well, that's a wash.
Yeah, it was a wash, but we'd already worked. Yeah, that's when we was explained to us about that. Make it made whole.
Affordable interest mortgage. 720-895.
So, Mark, what do you think? Or guys, what do you think about what Mark said?
Equal credit lender.
He said this seems like extra money.
No.
In that example, it does seem like extra money to me. It's not like really like the roof was damaged and you're replacing the roof, because nothing was damaged on that actual property. They're just saying it's diminished because of the surroundings. I
diminished value because of that.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. We have Atlas CPAs and Advisors with us. And if you have any questions, we have a few minutes only. Let me get to the phones. Clayton, what's going on, Clayton?
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
I got a collection account. One I freely admit that I'm owing.
Okay.
It was for some deductible and co-insurance that I just couldn't afford to pay at the time. But the thing is, I received a summons last week from the collection company stating that they were going to go ahead with get a judgment against me, I guess, in court coming up next week. So I just wanted some advice. I kind of panicked, so I called them to see what my options were. They agreed to take...
What is it? Oh, you freely admit you owe the money, right?
Yeah, but probably not as much as they're asking for because, they pile on all kinds of extra things on it.
That's why you go to court and have a hearing and you do settlements. But most of the time, unless they're egregious, they will grant them collection costs.
Right, and that's what I figured. I'd probably get stuck with it. But I called them and offered them to give me a little bit of time to take basically $250 in December, $250 in January, and then I would try and pay the balance off, which is about $6,000 sometime in February through a 401k loan. But I'm just wondering, I asked the lady, I said, would I be able to make an offer to settle this for less? And she said, well, you need to make the $250 payments in December and January, then... Yeah,
they don't want you to wait. They don't want you to wait. They want you to start paying.
Right. But is it realistic? Will they take an offer, do you think?
I don't think they will.
And I think you'd be crazy to take it out of a 401k to pay.
Yep. Totally crazy.
Even in a bankruptcy, they generally can't touch that money.
Have you thought about a bankruptcy if you're truly in debt? I mean, I don't encourage bankruptcy. I'm just saying, though, some people, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
No, it wouldn't be an option for me. I already had one, and it hasn't been enough time, and I really don't want to go that way. I've been trying to build my credit. My credit's actually pretty decent, but this collection account is
now,
going to mess some
Wink
things
and
up.
I just want to tell you that Wink and Wink are bankruptcy attorneys, and if you don't want a bankruptcy, they also do debt settlement talks. Now, you don't need an attorney to do that. You can do it yourself. But many times, I'm just saying this, when a bankruptcy attorney calls and says, hey, we're looking into settling, and they're bankruptcy attorneys, people think, wait a minute, maybe this guy might go belly up, maybe we should settle. I'm not saying you threaten bankruptcy, but it's sometimes insinuated when people like them call. And again, I'm not recommending you necessarily do that, but they have sometimes better luck at getting people's attention. That's all I'm saying.
What kind of debt is it?
It's medical.
Medical is difficult.
From the co-payment and the deductibles that I would have...
But Clayton, no matter what, it's not going to serve you to withhold payment. By the way, winkandwink.com, 303-410-1720. It's not going to serve you. Jeff, what's going on with you? Jeff.
Hey there. Hey. I just was getting a little sick of these phone calls I was getting, and I figured, you could maybe help me. I don't know how.
The IRS scam calls?
Yeah.
We used to call them all the time. Oh, my God. These people, they're such rip-offs.
They're subhuman. I know. They're not even human.
I like that.
So I'm trying to figure out. I've called them back probably 24 times since they tried calling me today and just said, okay, where are you really from? It's IRS, then certified mail. They don't call. Who are you and where are you from? They keep hanging up on me. So I'd love to I've done this before where I've called them enough they just disconnect the number and stop calling me. But I kind of don't have that kind of time today. What
There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. I mean, really, you can't block, calls that keep getting spoofed to other numbers. It's impossible. Jeff, I wish there were, I think somebody needs to come out with an invention that does that, where you have to dial a special number to get through, but they don't have it. Okay, here's an email. Sorry, I can't get through. Okay, I have a question. I have a quitclaim deed on my parents' house in New York State, created 10 years ago. My mom passed away 4 months ago. My dad is 98 in a nursing home. I was told to wait till my dad passes and there would be no capital gains tax to pay. If I sell now, I would have to pay capital gains. Is there truth to this? Yes. If he inherits it, he inherits it at the stepped-up basis.
But if it was given, then you receive it at the basis of the person that passed it to you, unless you paid something. So it sounds like a transfer of ownership back years ago, correct?
No, he didn't. I don't think. Oh, he actually has the quitclaim deed. He did a stupid thing, because now your basis is whatever it was when they quitclaimed it.
No, not even that. It's the basis is, well, I guess, did you pay any money, or was it just like for zero?
Yeah, he's on, I don't know, he didn't say. I bet you he got it free.
Yeah, so you probably just inherited the basis of whatever it was of your parent.
That's the thing. Yeah. And if he didn't pay anything, he got their basis. There's going to be a ton of capital gains no matter when you sell it.
Right.
So I hope you're listening, Rich. No matter when you sell it, you're going to have a capital gains. You should have done a beneficiary's deed. That would have been the way to do it. Then it automatically goes to you without probate, and then you pay the stepped up. I mean, it's only the stepped up value, which means if you sell it, you're going to have hardly any tax. Thank you very much for being here, Atlas. And we have, what is your phone number? I don't have it. Oh, here it is. Okay. If you need to get in touch with them when they're not here, it's 303-799-9111, 799-9111. Remember, folks, save all your problems for me.
Not one drop?
Not one drop.
So tomorrow we're going to try...
What did we do differently, guys?
Well, we have all new equipment. We're going to try that orange line.
Experience a warm environment in a cozy setting with plenty of HD TVs.
What that'll tell us is that maybe it was that apple. Because, I mean, I saw that for myself. That apple was switching.
You've always got a plain apple. Right?
Well, I like the little Chinese kids more than you.
He's a humanitarian.